Hello, friends. You're now listening to the lifestyle, leisure, and sports show you never knew was two of those things.
I think we can all acknowledge that if this fails, you two will be fired and I will remain. So, no pressure.
Bo Bishop, a regional media icon, winner of Emmys, purveyor of the good life.
Sir, you don't know that for a fact.
I just said it on the radio.
Also, two guys this company named Employee of the Month.
What are you talking about?
Paul Hogan is Hulk Hogan's brother. Look it up.
Because it's Hulk Hogan. That's his real name.
One guy is from Australia. The other one is from Tampa.
Maybe he's from Hollywood, brother.
Not brothers. Chops.
Yes, they are.
This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a very busy Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. I don't think any of this stuff should be happening today, quite honestly. I think they all should have thought this through a little bit better. 20 most interesting LSU Tigers. Jacob Hester coming up at 11:33. Dom will hit around 9:45. Had to move that up because Dean Evason is going to be your new head coach of your Columbus Blue Jackets. He is the 11th coach in Jackets history. He will be officially introduced coming up at 10:33. In addition to that, you have Big Ten Media Days. Ryan Day will speak during Rothman and Ice coming up at 12:45, but he's already spoken on ESPN, and so we will have some of that we will get into here coming up at 9:33, some of his comments on that. Here's why none of this should be happening today. This was the week of the schedule from a sports perspective that it starts to get real. NFL training camp reporting is happening. It happened. The rookies showed up and the quarterback showed up in Cleveland yesterday. The full roster will be in Cleveland on Tuesday. The full roster is going to be in Cincinnati today. Yesterday was Turtle Soup Day down in Cincinnati. Okay? They handed out the turtle soup yesterday, and Mike Brown talked. So NFL is now full speed ahead. You have a holdout with Jordan Love trying to get a contract extension. You could have holdouts in Cleveland. The main media, the main sports media in this country is going to gravitate to the moneymaker, which is the NFL. There is no reason for the Big Ten to do media days today, and yet we'll cover it like crazy because this is where we continue to do the show. But with just a modicum of planning, they could have put this at the end of last week. They could have put it the week before. And instead, on a national scale, it's going to get lost a little bit. And all of that is timing. The SEC knocks this one out of the park. The Big Ten does not. Same would go true for the Columbus Blue Jackets. On a day that the Big Ten commissioner is talking for the first time in months, in a day that Ryan Day is going to be at the podium for the first time in a little while, at least at Big Ten Media Days, you don't have a press conference today of a new head coach. You do that yesterday. Could have done that. Let's knock that out yesterday. Let's get that done at 10:30. So it's loaded. We'll cover all of it. We're going to get to all of it. But it's just kind of a simple lesson in be aware of everything that's going on in the sports world, because when you have availabilities like this and you have announcements like this and you have chances for coaches and players to talk, you want them to have the full attention of the full media. Not just the people who cover them on a daily basis. You want everybody. You want the headlines. Remember, we ran into this back in the spring when we were like, the SEC had this crazy thing around Memorial Day where they met somewhere on the coast and had the SEC meetings. And we came on and we're like, God, the Big Ten should do something like that. And then one of my buddies at Ohio State, yeah, we did. It was in Los Angeles in April, and nobody saw it.
How did the one in Los Angeles get covered less than the one in Destin? How is that
Great
possible?
point, Chopper. I don't know. I don't know. One's a drive, I guess, for the people in the conference. But no, it's just simple. Take full advantage of these, because what any of this is, whether it's the press conference to announce a new head coach with the Columbus Blue Jackets, whether it's Ryan Day speaking at Big Ten Media Days or Tony Petitti speaking at Big Ten Media Days, what those are is an opportunity for you to put your brand in the best possible light. That's the job. Now, these are self-inflicted wounds. I can't help. I feel bad for the crew. They're hosting MLS All-Star Game. It's tomorrow night. The festivities start today. We're ongoing. You're going to showcase our town in this beautiful stadium that ownership built that is, quite honestly, second to none. But unfortunately, because of Copa and the injury to Messi, he's not going to play. Suarez isn't going to play. I don't know if they're going to be there or not, but you were hoping to at least see them play. All the while, this is happening in really what is one of the busier sports weeks in terms of talking about sport that you will see on the entire calendar this week. Timing, not great, kids.
Yeah, in total, we went back east and we were gone for 4 days, but I only missed the 2 shows, Friday and Monday. But I came back today and just like looking through everything, and I was like, no, it felt like I was gone 10 days. It is night and day difference. Like when I went to the ESPN like NFL page today and saw all the trending headlines, I was like, yeah, this is way different than the last month of like the trickling in barely news we've gotten from the NFL. And then on your point of like Big Ten Media Days, not putting themselves in a situation where they get to be the one and only thing that you are looking at. They didn't even, while they're going against the NFL, and now there's news here in Columbus with the hiring of a head coach as well, they didn't even put themselves singularly in this week for media days. The ACC started yesterday, a day before, and goes all the way till Thursday anyway. So that leaves some national reporters that are going to have to go to the ACC one. Obviously, certain team guys that maybe are a little bit bigger and sometimes go to other conferences. Nope, they're going to be covering that. And yes, the Big Ten is more important than the ACC, so they will get more coverage, but they will get less coverage because it's going on at the same time.
There's no doubt. Yeah, there's no doubt. It's just, you just look at the calendar and a lot of it could be avoided. It's going to make for a very fun show for us because we're going to try to put all this stuff into perspective and get it covered for you from all angles. One other thing, I saw, Reese, did we have this at the end of the show yesterday on Connor Stallions? We had like a mention of it
at all. This was another one of those things that happened while we were off the air.
Okay, sometimes I forget. When it happened over the course of the day. I couldn't remember if there was a mention of it at the end of our show or not, but it came out yesterday afternoon that Netflix is doing a documentary with Connor Stallions. And I said this with Tito and Bob in Juice when I do the weekly hit. I always do with those guys. Like, I think if you're looking for satisfaction from a Buckeye fan perspective, probably keep looking. That you're not going to ever get your pound of flesh on that one. That thing is going to come. It's going to go. I don't know what his motivation would be for doing this. Bob hypothesized, maybe he doesn't have a job, needs some money. Okay, I could be, but I don't. If you're looking for him to bury Michigan, wasn't he in the locker room when they won it? Like, I don't sense that he's going to bury Michigan at all. If you're looking for the NCAA to come and spank them or to take away things that are meaningful, I don't think that's happening at all. We've already had the NCAA boss say, look, we're not taking away the national championship. We're not doing that. That boat's already sailed from port, man. So I think the best you can hope for is, they did a lot of bad. Okay, on to the next. Take away some recruiting is probably minimally about the maximum that I would expect on that thing. Harbaugh's going to walk scot-free. They're keeping that national title, and they're keeping that undefeated season. And you had your chance to beat him, and you didn't. And so now you got to live with it, and it sucks. And hopefully you get retribution this year, but it's going to feel a little different because Harbaugh's not on the other sideline. But to me, if you think anything monumental, newsworthy is going to come out of Stallions in terms of, Harbaugh was in it all the way, he's going to throw Michigan under the bus, I see no scenario how that happens. None.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I do hear what Bobby is saying, but why would Connor Stallions need the money when he's got that vast vacuum cleaner repair empire going
you can
for
sling
him?
A lot of vacuums in Cody, Wyoming.
No, but yeah, this Untold series by Netflix too has been disappointing most of the times that it had come out. I didn't even watch Swamp Kings because I just got that vibe after the Manziel one. They're like, okay, these aren't actually fully in depth. I think it's a little bit the subject gets to control the narrative a little bit too much. And that was definitely clear with Manziel, which I think will be what happens with Connor Stallions. And I think they're also very like cookie cutter, like documentary crew for hire and go and cover this, almost like more of a news feature rather than somebody who has been pouring into a subject for years and decided now I'm going to round everybody up and ask the right pertinent questions and get a really good documentary. That's what I get out of these. And Connor Stallions, because he has been such a Michigan lifer before he was even on staff there, and now he clearly has all that. My guess is, he would do things that would more likely throw him singularly under the bus to possibly clean up the image for Michigan through this thing.
That's not bad.
That's what I think is going to happen. And also,
I acted alone.
Yes, this was all me. I came up with this entire thing. Well, how'd you pay for all the plane tickets? And don't worry about that.
The problem is, though, you just
vacuum service will pay for the tickets.
Slinging a lot of Hoovers. Here's the thing, though, guys, that you have to remember about this. No one's going to ask the question you just asked.
Yep.
There's not, because it's not a documentary. It's sports washing. So you're not going to have somebody say, where did you get the money for the tickets? Where did you get this? So even if there is a mea culpa, I acted alone, I did this, Even if there is all
He's
of
not
that.
even going to fully explain how he did it.
No. And there's not going to be, well, how did you pull this off? There's not going to be any questioning of it. I would be floored if Harbaugh's name came up at all, quite honestly. I see no scenario.
Harbaugh did not know about this at all. That's the line that I see. I also think when you're talking about like, could the hammer ever come down for Michigan? Not from this. And I don't think the other one, the recruiting violation dead period 2020 cheeseburger one, I don't think that's going to amount to too much. And they've sort of been working through it, but they're probably more likely to take harsher penalties for that than the sign stealing at this point. The sign stealing just sounds like the NCAA and especially the actual powers of college football, like the college football playoff, and the Big Ten already gave out punishment for it, suspending Harbaugh last season. Like, it just doesn't, I don't know what they're going to go for.
I don't either. Chris, with this on social, with Stallions doing this documentary on Netflix, if he's honest, spills the beans on everything that went on, do you think that fuels the NCAA to bring down sanctions on that team up north? They won't take away the national title, as you said, but maybe they do get sanctions. Thoughts? My thoughts is maybe, but I don't think he's going to do that. And I don't think the NCAA is you got to remember this, Chris. The NCAA, as we've said a billion times, they do not have subpoena power. Right now, they do not have an investigative arm to even look into this. And so without the investigative arm, without the subpoena power, the NCAA is trying to not get sued. That's where they're at.
And failing.
Failing. They're trying to mitigate lawsuits and litigation that is happening from amateurism lawsuits that are happening all over the country, where every time they get in a court of law, they get spanked. And every time they get in the court of law, they say, that kind of feels like employment to us. And that's where their entire focus is. They cannot track down and investigate something like this. Look how long this cheeseburger thing has taken. That's COVID.
It was like 3-4 years ago, yeah.
That's 2020 when this recruiting violation happened that they've been looking into for 4 years, man.
And it's based on, did he give them something that he wasn't supposed to give them during a dead period? Like,
nonsense. And you're going to, I mean, come on.
And the other thing, too, like if the NCAA saw something that was like, oh, we need to investigate that. Like you said, they're not really capable of getting into that, and Michigan wouldn't acquiesce and give them all the information they want. So it would just end up being Connor Stallion said some things on a documentary that we're all a little skeptical of how true anything that comes out of that series is. I don't think the NCAA can punish a school because, we watched a movie on Netflix and now you guys are banned from a postseason or something.
I guess I don't even know I guess our best example of this would be that show Jinx, when he said, of course I did it, when they had him mic'd.
Yeah, right.
And then eventually he got. Like, maybe that's what could happen. Like, if they announced, we did it. Harbaugh knew. Of course he did. I'd do it again. All of that. Yes, he ordered the code red. Maybe then. But I just don't think they have an interest in it. So I don't think that if you're out there looking for a satisfying resolution to this, I don't think you're going to get one. The last thing I'll say on this is we are in such an ADD society right now. I think outside of us and Buckeye fans around the country, I don't think people even remember the Connor Stallion stuff. I don't think there's a point of reference. I mean, I'm sure Michigan State fans, Notre Dame fans, but like diehard college football people who are linked to Michigan, I think the gross majority of people have moved on. They're on to the next. I don't think that there's any lingering, oh, yeah, Michigan's going to get theirs, other than for the people who hate Michigan. I really don't.
It's one thing when you think like singularly about it, like, it comes up that Netflix is doing a documentary, and you're like, yeah, Connor Stallions, all that stuff. But you're right. Even when I think of Michigan and Michigan versus Washington and the national championship and Harbaugh leaving, like so many other news stories have happened for them anyways, that's not what I think. I don't think of the sign stealing first right now when I think of Michigan's football program.
Yeah, I don't think many do. So, yeah, I think if you're waiting for a pound of flesh, it's going to be a long wait. We're going to talk a little pie coming up next. Reese's favorite topic. Mike Brown served turtle soup and talked. We'll get into it coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only radio station still operating with an active booze cart. I'm drunk right now. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Find great prices on summer favorites this week at Meijer. Get fresh local blueberries for $1.49 and Meijer chips 3 for $5. Plus, the 7 for $7 sale is back. Mix or match hundreds of items and pay just $1 each when you pick any 7 or more. Eckrich hot dogs, Meijer ketchup, and select Coca-Cola products, plus deposit where applicable. To round out your summer cookout, shop low Meijer prices and the 7 for $7 sale this week only. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in store or in the Meijer app.
Hey there, Weekend Warriors. Austin Ward here. Sick of that slice? Tired of those 3-putts? What if I told you your handicap isn't about your swing, it's about your weight? Why not take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with Awaken 180? We're talking 10 strokes off by August, getting your tour card by September, winning your first major, year 1. Think about it. Fame, fortune, and most important, winning $5 off your buddy, because you, sir, are closest to the pin. Taking strokes off your game is just 40 pounds away at Awaken180weightloss.com.
Awaken 180 does not guarantee an immediate 10 strokes off your score, receiving a tour card, or the ability to control the weather. Individual results may vary. Your newfound athleticism might cause jealousy amongst your foursome, leading to accusations of steroid use. Awaken 180 is not responsible for defending your honor in the clubhouse. Awaken 180 cannot guarantee that your newfound golf prowess will lead to a sponsorship deal, but we can't not guarantee it either. Awaken 180 is not responsible for any dramatic fist bumps or unsolicited golf tips you give to strangers. Awaken 180 does not offer refunds for any lost wagers made on your improved golf game. Bet wisely, my friend.
Strokes off your game by dropping pounds off your frame. Awaken180weightloss.com.
You've waited all summer, and now is the time to take action at Buckeye Lake Marina. Join Buckeye Lake Marina on Saturday, July 27th from 9 to 5 for their massive summer boat extravaganza. Door prizes and giveaways, free food and refreshments. There will also be dock demonstrations with every available boat in the water. Take a ride aboard the latest and greatest new and used boats offered on Buckeye Lake. Don't miss Buckeye Lake Marina's summer boat extravaganza this Saturday, July 27th from 9 to 5. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for details.
Summer is full of family fun, strawberry picking, little Johnny's baseball games, warding off shark attacks on the beach.
You're going to need a bigger boat.
When you get sick of all that crap, turn to us. Download the Fan app and take us with you. The Fan.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $229 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our best value guarantee and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. Get the right car at Reichert. We're dealing.
With approved credit, 2024 Sentra SR FWD 24-month lease with $3,000 due at signing and $731.24.
Roof leaks and damage can ruin your business and your reputation. Property management pros trust Legacy Roofing Services, Ohio's leader in commercial roof repair, replacement, and ongoing maintenance. At Legacy, our reputation for fast, reliable, safe, and permanent roofing services for commercial buildings can solve your roofing problems before they become roofing nightmares. Call Legacy Roofing Services today, 800-880-ROOF, 800-880-ROOF. Legacy Roofing Services.
Hey, Ohio! Make memories that will last a lifetime at the Ohio State Fair, July 24th through August 4th. Experience the food, entertainment, animals, shopping, rides, and more. July 24th through August 4th. Tickets on sale at ohiostatefair.com.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state. The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
Along with the Ohio chapter of the International Society of Arboriculture, while you're outside, this is a great time to be on the lookout for invasive plant species like honeysuckle, poison hemlock, and even wild parsnip, which can cause severe skin blistering, so be careful. Invasive species can wreak all sorts of havoc, like altering the native food web, making it harder on native wildlife, altering soil chemistry, even creating a better environment for things like ticks and mosquitoes. To learn more or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy today with a few afternoon showers and thunderstorms. High 86. Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with a low 67. Then on your Wednesday, expect showers and thunderstorms. High 87. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robershad with a look at your 10 TV weather impact forecasts on 97.1 The Fan.
If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Boy, the timing of that couldn't be more apt. You'll hear from the pie guy in just a second. Erectile dysfunction, intimacy destroyer, guys. You know it. Research show that men can draw apart from their partners when ED affects the sex life. The condition causes stress, anxiety, depression. Even worse, a man's partner can blame themselves when ED becomes a problem. And when dealing with the issues of erectile dysfunction, you want the right treatment for your specific medical situation. Every case, of course, is different. You got to find the right treatment that can mean the difference between just an okay experience and an amazing one. And that's where my friends at Tri-State Men's Health Treatments come in. They have treatments that work where the pills and herbals fail. They have treatments with success rates well over 90%. So do yourself a favor. Schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health here in town today. Your initial visit's $99. That includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, T and PSA test, and a medically advised test dose. Now, if the test dose doesn't work, the office visit is free. It's a no-lose win-win for you. So give a call today. Get your sex life back on track at 800-900-9654 or visit tristatemenshealth.com today. 6 locations in the Tri-State, 2 here in town. Quick exit off 270 in Hilliard, and your Medical Mile in Westerville as well on that. It was one of my favorites. It's such. Did you guys, Reese, as you were looking at the audio of this, of Mike Brown talking, and I saw this on social yesterday, did you notice like the wood paneling behind him?
I mean, it looks like your grandparents' basement.
So awesome.
Is that how that thing's always looked? That media room that they have there?
So it's in the stadium is where they do it.
They got a couch with some plastic on it?
It's so good. It's so good. I will give them a lot of credit in this regard. Once a year, Mike Brown, the general manager and the head coach of the Bengals, meet with the assembled media. They usually have like the greater Cincinnati area high school coach of the year. They honor him as well. It's a luncheon. It's a tossed salad. It's a turtle soup. And in the old days, I'm sure it's still the same because I think every time I went, it was the same. You pick between a steak or chicken. So it truly is like a Don Draper lunch. Like it's Roger Sterling, Don Draper, old school steak, salad, soup, noon lunch. That's what they serve. But I give them credit because Mike talks at this every year.
So, yeah.
And typically, guys, he gives local television station, you get one-on-ones. You get 5 to 10 minutes with Mike Brown one-on-one.
Do you get the impression that Mike Brown knows that, especially the menu, but you were talking about the wood paneling, that all this stuff seems a little quaint and old-fashioned? Or do you think he's like, oh, it's the pancake breakfast, we do it every month?
Both. Both. I think it's the pancake breakfast, we do it every year, and I think he loves. And God almighty, I wouldn't blame him. I think he loves his lineage, and I think he loves who his dad is, and he loves what he represents. And they are one of the few left out there that are still doing it this way, that don't have, it's them, the Rooneys. There's not many left.
The Chargers.
Where their wealth. Yeah, Chargers would be one. There aren't too many. Davis with the Raiders. There aren't too many where the wealth comes from the fact that you own the team. This used to be what the NFL was. Like it was, these were teams that were owned by the same forever, but they've been bought up by these billionaires and these conglomerates and all of this stuff. So there aren't many family operations left. They are absolutely a family operation, and it comes into play when discussing how they are going to compensate all of this incredible draft talent that they have accumulated through the years. So the topic of conversation a year ago was Joe Burrow and his extension. Here is Mike Brown on Jamar Chase's contract extension talks.
We're not going to say, oh, no, we aren't going to do that deal if it's the right deal. But it's not so likely that this is the good time to negotiate. The offseason is a better time for that. I'm not going to rule anything out, but I will tell you that the die has probably been cast. He's a key player. Next to Joe, he's our next one. And he knows that we know it. This may take a while. We are going to bend over backwards to get it done. I can't tell you when, though.
I would also just add that there's no hurry. Remember the Justin Jefferson deal, and Jefferson's a year ahead of Jamar. The Justin Jefferson deal happened this offseason. Mm-hmm. So Chase's calendar would be for next offseason for this to be sorted out.
Jefferson, by the way, 4-year, 140, 110 guaranteed, all highest for non-quarterback ever. So that's the neighborhood that he wants to be in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Jamar probably would like that money now, and you understand that. And I understand the Bengals' perspective of, let's stack a season, and then we'll get into it then. And he just said he's the second most important player on the team. I think that's appropriate. And I think something will get done. The risk would be on Chase now, though. And I think what you could have is, there were some whispers last year that maybe Jefferson was more cautious in coming back because he did not have the extension and he did not have the guaranteed money. That could be something to pay a little bit of attention to with Chase, because he's been knocked up. Just like with Burrow, he's had a knock almost every year. He's had injuries. So, can he stay healthy and all of that? And then how quickly is he motivated to get back on the field if he hasn't been compensated as much? Because, of course, there are no guaranteed money in the National Football League until you sign on the line, which is dotted. So I don't think it'll be a distraction for them, though. I think that they'll be fine, and I think the calendar is fine to get this done in the offseason.
Yeah, and I mean, you knew this, that how important Jamar Chase was to the Bengals and the future of Joe Burrow, and that's the one guy that they're like, no, we're going to keep him no matter what. And at the end there, Mike Brown says, yeah, we're going to bend over backwards to get this done. So it's definitely, and like I said, I already thought this, but now I can really just sit with peace of mind with it, that polar opposites to what's going on with T. Higgins, that they have basically put the writing on the wall. As he said, the die has been cast that T. Higgins is going to be here on the tag this year, and that's it. The Bengals are going to be done with him. No, Jamar Chase is going to be signed, and they're going to figure out the money stuff. But it is the reality of, like you were saying, with them being the family-run business of the Bengals, that it's hard to find that you can get Joe Burrow to $55 million a year, and then the next year guarantee $100+ million to Jamar Chase.
Well, I mean, what you talk about a pie. What was Burrow's guaranteed total? Was it it's over $200 million. So if Chase is over $100 million, which we expect it to be, that means that they're going to have to write checks for $300 million, Reese, at the time of signing. Do you have it?
And T. Higgins is $20 million this year too.
Yeah,
$219 guaranteed for Burrow.
Okay, so that $219.
Big slice.
It's a huge pie. $219, and then if Chase is another $115, that's liquid. Mm-hmm. That's not a payment plan. This isn't layaway. You got to have it in escrow. You got to be able to write the check.
Can I put
cash
that on my
check.
MasterCard?
Yeah, So, and they have it, but in the old days, they didn't. So it's not as simple as it is up 71 North in Cleveland, where they are liquid and they can just hand out the cash because they have it in spades. One quick thing I want to get to. We'll get to Ryan Day, we'll get to some of his sound from over in Indy in about 5 minutes. I saw this in the Washington Post this morning. Everybody had it. I'm not going to sit here and say I believe I had it, because everybody had it. The NFL is broaching the subject of an 18-game regular season. So that's coming. I think what you're going to see.
They're just broaching this?
Well, they're going to finalize it.
Wow. I was about to say, they just saw this on Monday. Did Goodell wake up and go, what would be fun?
All the owners had a conference call and were like, what if we did 18 games? Has anybody ever thought of that?
Yeah. So here's you were never going to stay at 17 because of the odd thing. The thing that's going to bug me about it is the records, because they're all going to be obliterated because you're playing 2 more regular season games. So the touchdown yardage, the touchdown record, the yardage, all that stuff's gone. None of those records will stand now. You're going to obliterate all of them left and right because you're playing 2 extra games than what they played historically. But the other thing that's going to happen on this is you're going to get 2 bye weeks over the course of the season, and you're going to get the Super Bowl on the Sunday before President's Day. So we'll work.
Hooray for us.
But most people will have Monday off. So the Super Bowl will truly feel like a holiday once this happens.
Blank your bodies, NFL players. We get an actual 3-day weekend.
You know what they should? You know what they should do? They should do Super Bowl Sunday, Pro Bowl Monday, and during the day, and see if
that's not bad.
Going to be sitting around recovering from the late night of the Super Bowl. Boom! Then you can put the Pro Bowl, and they'll still be in football mode. I think that would work.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I don't mind that one bit. The Buckeyes over in Indy for Big Ten Media Days. Ryan Day was on ESPN this morning. We'll have some of that for you coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The Fan is live and local with Morning Juice, Caffeinate, and Dominate.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
As a local family-owned and operated company, Newman Roofing takes great pride in providing great customer experience and quality product to every job they do. From the first phone call to the end of your project, they'll know who you are. Don't just get a roof, get a Newman roof. Call 614-NEW-ROOF, newmanroofing.com.
It's time to start saving with deals for days at Giant Eagle and Market District. From the everyday essentials to your must-have branded favorites, Deals for Days has low prices on more than 1,000 items across the store. Don't delay. These discounted prices on your go-to groceries will only be available for a limited time. Learn more about Deals for Days at gianteagle.com or dive into savings today at your local Giant Eagle or Market District.
You can always say good morning. But when you're about to enjoy golden biscuits and toasty hash browns at McDonald's, you say, good morning.
And what better way to start your day than at McDonald's with the Sausage McMuffin, sausage biscuit, sausage burrito, or hash browns. Mix and match any two for just $3. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer, single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
The summer sell-down is on at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Save thousands with bonus cash on select inventory. Plus, get another $2,500 off any new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram with your trade. One Performance, 2 locations, Georgesville and Delaware.
Trade value based on KBB, be comparable, 2010 model or newer, and price of $5K.
The Fan is your home for the Dallas Cowboys.
No, we're not. You can't say that. Take 2.
The Fan is your home of the Buckeyes. Yes, that's right. Same thing, but more playoff success. Now give Big Voice Guy another brandy. Thank you. The Fan.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. I was in my Lexus the other day. It was hot as hell, but I was so thankful for my ventilated seats. I'm not saying that's why you should buy one. It's just very nice. Right now at Jermaine Lexus, it's the Golden Opportunity Sales Event with lease payments as low as $499 a month and 3.99% financing on select models. Get this, the RZ is 0%. I have been a Jermaine customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Jermaine Lexus, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
You know that thing you've always been too scared to go for? It seems like you'll never have the guts. Then a cancer diagnosis. And doing that thing becomes way less scary. I would know. I've always wanted a black belt. And today, the only thing standing in my way is a few wooden boards. It's been a lot of hard work and 5 years since I beat cancer at Ohio Health. Bring it on. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans to learn more.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here. Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Because comfort keeps us going. So grab your family, your friends, and your Wrangler layers for some fresh air adventures together. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? Sup with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 2 restaurant locations in Grandview and Gahanna. Drink local, drink High Bank.
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday edition of the program. Big Ten Media Days about to start over in Indianapolis. Tony Petiti coming up around 11. Ryan Day around 12:45. Our guys on Rothman and Ice will have those comments for you live here on The Fan. Ryan this morning was on Get Up with the fellas and touched on myriad issues. I think the most interesting stuff, let's start with his thoughts on the expanded playoff, because he's been beating this drum all off season long.
I think you have to build it the right way, and year in and year out, when you're in a place like Ohio State, I think the first thing that comes up is the end of the season, is the playoffs. What does that look like? But the truth is, you got to rebuild every single season. You got to build now in the summer. You got to build as the season goes on. You got to build depth as the season goes on. You got to build an identity, and then by the end of the season, the goal is to be playing your best football. I think when you look at the teams in the NFL, that's really what's happened. They find their identity there September and October, and then they're looking to play their best football in November and December. Well, I don't think that's going to be any different now. I guess the only difference is that you're going to see more teams in the playoffs make the playoffs, and so now it's more and more important to be playing your best football at the end of the season.
He's been on this in terms of how to build a roster with an extended season and the extended playoff. It's all very real. I know it's a video game, but the simulation is real. We're playing Penn State last night, me and the boys, and already without Travion Henderson, and Quinshon Judkins went down in the second quarter. So all of a sudden, Peoples is my back, and all of a sudden, Will Howard takes a couple of hits, and if I continue to play him, there's a severe risk of injury. So all of a sudden, I got Devin Brown running Wildcat to try to win in Penn State to beat the Nittany Lions. So it's a video game. I get it, and it's putting out some ridiculous simulations. They love NC State and all of that. But the one reality is, as I'm sitting here going through this, and I'm putting myself in Ryan Day's shoes, he's going, can I get a bye week? Can I get a bye week here? I'm halfway home. The reality of this schedule and this amount of games for a college football roster, the realities of that have not sunk in yet. I think coaches know it because Ryan's been beating the drum on it all off season long. He is going to need all those tailbacks. Like, I'm sitting here looking at the Buckeye depth chart at running back, and I'm going, like, God, it'd be nice if we had Dallin Hayden still. Be nice if we still had Chip Trainum. Like, you're going to need a bunch of them. You're going to need, at quarterback, it's a little less. I mean, you got to have two absolutely ready and probably a third, but at the skill positions, the amount of depth that it's going to be required, is just going to be crazy. You really need to be 3 and 4 deep. As we're going through 20 most interesting programs, I'm thinking about you better have the depth of talent. I don't see any scenario where, to me, it feels like everyone thinks this is going to get more people in the mix for the national championship. Yeah, I guess technically they'll have an opportunity to play for it. But fellas, if you don't have depth of talent, there is no way that you're going to scale this mountain. If like, for example, like Colorado, where not that they're a contender at all, but like where their first string is kind of okay, their second string's the one that if you're going to make a run, it's that second string that better be more than okay too. The depth has to be there. So I think while the look of this is more teams are going to compete for national title, I think honestly it's going to be less.
I wonder too if what the level of play, especially like early in the season, is going to look like for the teams. Because I'm really thinking back to Pete Carroll at USC was one of the first times it was like really apparent that they were recruiting so well and had so much depth that they felt comfortable practicing ones versus ones. And that is something that I think a lot of teams have gone to that have that much talent that you say we can practice these two guys together because God forbid it happens, but if somebody gets hurt, we know we have depth to fill in those spots. But I wonder if they'll take that away. And I'm interested to see these super teams that have all the big recruits. Are they going to be a little slower at the start of seasons because they take training camp a little bit easier because of everything in front of them?
NFL approach.
Yeah, another thing for college coaches that's going to be weird is you're going to go through this whole season and everything you learn from it might be just a little bit off because this year is one of those special years where Labor Day and Thanksgiving are 14 weeks apart, so there's 2 bye weeks. You're not guaranteed 2 bye weeks in every other season, so that's going to be something that's going to help you out this year, but you can't really take it moving forward. I also think that recruiting is obviously, and it's going to continue to be, the lifeblood of your college football program. But there's a chance for, as we get into this and with everything that's changed and how you can build your roster, because you talked about building your roster throughout the season even, but I think the biggest commodity in college football over the next few years is going to be those 4th and 5th year one season mercenary transfer type players that you can bring in and put on your roster and know that guy is ready. But it's also going to be really important now that when you recruit like Ohio State and you're bringing in 4 and 5 stars, when you're a 4 and 5 star, that is basically a checked box of physically these guys can play college football. But now you need to make sure that they are ready mentally for it, which is what happened in the bowl game when Lincoln Keenholz was not prepared for a college football game to just already all of a sudden be subbed in.
It'll be a fascinating discussion to be held after the season, but I'd expect the calendar to be moved back. So you're going to start seeing football games played earlier into August, which is, again, like the NFL, good for us just because we get more. We get more of the sport that we love. Not so sure it's going to be great for players and their bodies. And that'll change with games being played earlier. You'll start to, change every single bit of your calendar. And I do wonder if, like, with Burrow and a suggestion he made about a uniform bye week in the NFL.
Yeah.
Is that something that happens for college football?
You know what you just stumbled upon, Reese? You delicate genius. I wonder if from a scheduling philosophy, we've talked about moving the whole schedule up. I wonder if college football will get to a point where those first 2 weeks are preseason games. That if the power conferences go cupcake out of the gates, everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
everybody goes cupcake.
Everybody goes cupcake. You go that in week 0 and week 1. Like, USC doesn't need to play LSU week 1. Like, cupcake, and almost treat them as preseason games to build that depth, because you can play 1AAs, and the gap between Ohio State and the group of 5 teams is just going to get bigger and bigger. So, like, you can play a lot of these lower level D1 teams and 1AA, whatever they call it now. You can play those teams and almost treat them as preseason games. I wonder if that's the play. If that's the way to build depth, treat them as preseason games, couple of series for the starters, and then get depth to play early on. And then all of a sudden, okay, now let's go. Here's our 10-game regular season. Let's go. That might be, philosophically, if they could all get on the same page, that might be the way that it works.
And I think because they would still be pay games for the FCS schools, that they would be okay with, like,
everybody wins.
Okay, we understand that it's not exactly a serious game. I wonder if they would still have to build it into theirs, or if they would go down to like 10 regular season games and be a part of that. That would be something you'd have to figure out, especially with bringing like the FCS teams up. But bringing up that subdivision also reminds me of something that keep an eye out for people like Chris Kleiman at Kansas State, because he was at North Dakota State for a long time. He knows what this is like. Now,
yeah,
the level of football is just a step down, but they play through a playoff that has 16 teams go into it in the FCS, and he did it a lot at North Dakota State. So I also wonder how many coaches have reached out to people they know around the coaching world who are at that FCS level and have that playoff experience of, like, how have you guys managed it all these years?
I mean, Ryan's NFL experience would play right into it.
Yeah, that's true,
what got me thinking about the NFL model of the buys and the preseason games. Like, I wonder if that's where it could be. One thing that I don't think will happen, and Ryan was asked about this, Dabo Swinney made some headlines this week saying that teams are going to rest players in November. Ryan was asked about it this morning on Get Up. Here's what he had to say.
As you look at the end of our season, I think with the games that you see at the end of our season, I think when you look at the opportunity to get into a bye situation, I think when you look at the Big Ten championship game, I mean, you can't take any of those games off. And I think having a first-round bye is very, very important. So, I don't know if we're going to be in a situation where that would come up based on the way that our schedule plays out. But I do think that we're going to be experiencing some new things in college football this season.
I don't think that's going to be the case either, because you're going to be chasing those buys. I don't see any scenario where, like, you rest. I don't buy Dabo at all saying if you schedule like the SEC does and you have like that bye week practice game before your rival, then that could be a game where people rest, Reese. But I don't see any scenario where, like, not real teams.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman made an appearance. I think he was doing the ESPN car wash as well, but this was on Friday, and he said something similar, like the opportunities that we have in front of us, especially with Notre Dame not being able to get a first-round bye due to lack of conference. He's like, we're going to position ourselves for the best seeding possible, and that just means, even with rivalry games, because they'll probably still play USC maybe towards the end of the year, but at least in November, we're not interested in doing that.
And the CFP seeding is not like just a straight up equation. So in the NFL, you can say, oh, we've already locked up the division. We can't get the number 1 seed. There's not much different between 2 and 3. Okay, we know that this is the only thing that can happen to us. If you rest players in November, all of a sudden that could be the difference between being the 2 seed or the 5 seed or the 4 seed, even if you do win the Big Ten title, and that's going to matter to you.
Here's where it could happen. Tennessee. So Tennessee's last game is Vandy, typically. That's usually their last game. Mm-hmm. So Tennessee, let's say Tennessee was already in the SEC title game. I could see them resting guys in that game because their rivalry game is lesser. Mm-hmm. But Alabama's not resting guys in the Iron Bowl against Auburn. Like, that's not going to be – you're not going to rest guys in the Ohio State-Michigan game. All right, we'll hit a little Tuesdays with Tiberi a little earlier than normal. Coming up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary. Terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Your roof took a beating from winter storms, spring rain, and sun damage. Call Legacy Roofing Services before that crack or seam becomes a major leak, costing thousands of dollars. Call Legacy today, 800-880-ROOF, 800-880-ROOF. Legacy Roofing Services.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Are you or a loved one struggling with addiction? Too many families suffer in silence, watching someone they care about struggle day after day. At Pinnacle Treatment and Recovery Works, we understand the pain and the heartache. More importantly, we know how to help. Our comprehensive addiction treatment programs can help you reclaim your life. Imagine waking up with hope, free from the fear of withdrawal. Help your loved ones, your son, your daughter, or help yourself. Take the step that changes everything. Visit pinnacletreatment.com/Ohio. Your new life starts now.
We know your golf game is ugly, but your course doesn't have to be. Experience the natural beauty of Delaware Golf Club today. Delaware Golf Club is now open to the public and only 10 miles up the road from 270. For the best rates, book your tee time online at delawaregolfclub.com.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
This season on Nada Yada Island. When we were new, they spoiled me. They even gave me a phone. But then, it's like I didn't exist.
Don't take yada yada from your wireless carrier. Now with Metro, get that new customer feeling again and again. Introducing Metro Flex. Free 5G phones when you join, same deals as new customers when you stay. Only at Metro by T-Mobile. Just bring your number and ID and sign up for an eligible plan. After 12 months, trade in and get our best deals on select devices. I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and our summer clearance event starts now with 0% financing on the 2024 Toyota Tundra. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com for details. Hurry in. Offer ends July 31st. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
With approved credit, 0% up to 48 months, tax, title, and $250 doc fee not included.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards that zero-turn lawnmower you've always wanted. And after using its edge-shaping technology to meticulously sculpt the face of the Mona Lisa into your grass, you'll become the undisputed king of Saturday morning lawn care, leaving your neighbor and sworn enemy Gary to question his place in the delicate neighborhood ecosystem. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as, that's 888-665-0696.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Bishop and Friends present Tuesdays with Tiberi.
Sponsored by Sears Heating and Cooling. Family owned since 1950.
Little earlier than normal today because we have a CBJ head coach press conference coming up at 10:30. So a little earlier for little Tuesdays with Tiberi. Uncle Dom joining us on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Have you been to the Mike Brown turtle soup preseason luncheon?
I have been, and I don't eat turtle soup.
Why?
But I have
it's delicious.
Been there. I don't eat turtles. I don't eat frogs. I don't eat reptiles. Are you
no
serious?
Snake? No alligator bites down in New Orleans?
How do you like your snake cooked, sir?
Medium rare.
No, you don't. Do you eat rattlesnake? Because you're from Montana, where they're at.
Yeah, they have some there. I have eaten rattlesnake. I have eaten alligator down in the South. I love turtle soup.
Once too. That was awful. I'm not eating turtle soup. Ugh. They're dirty animals.
Pigs are dirty, and we like bacon.
Yeah, but it's different. Come on, they're reptiles. I mean, they're mouse and I mean, they're related to that Komodo dragon thing. I'm not eating any of that junk.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I was trying to.
Yeah, I mean, really, seriously. When have you ever eaten turtle soup except down at the Bengals?
It's only down there. In fact, I've never even seen it on a menu anywhere else. I didn't even.
Well,
I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I knew it even existed until I was at the Bengals preseason luncheon. That's the only time I went. The first time I went was probably like 07 or 08. And I went down there and it was on the menu, and I'm like, well, is it really a turtle? So I just ate it. It basically tastes like beef soup is what it tasted like beef barley soup.
Well, there's supposedly, I've been told that there's 8 different kinds of meat in a turtle, and they have these different tastes. And thanks, but no thanks. Not doing it.
Not so much. How do you? I went on a little rant off the top of the show about how nobody understands the prospect of timing. So you're the perfect example of this. You're the sports director at Channel 10 and been the boss there for a while now. And you think about your gig, and you've got a head coach being announced today, his first press conference with the Blue Jackets. You've got an MLS All-Star game in town. You have Big Ten Media Days with Ryan Day, and you're going to have Tony Petitti talking for the first time extended in a long time. How didn't anybody talk and say, hey, maybe let's not all do this all on the same day?
You know what I liken it to? Brad Wesley. They're all Brad Wesley. And that's the way it is. I mean, now, I think it's amazing that, that's all happening on the same day, but just, that's the way it is. Welcome to the big times, because, Columbus used to be, they used to say we were a one-horse town. Now we're not a one-horse town. And, that's the kind of stuff. You got the MLS All-Star game here. The world's watching, although poor Messi's not playing. I know everybody was hoping for that.
Yeah.
Big Ten Media Day, come on, Ohio State football. Ross Bjork said it best, they're king. And now the Blue Jackets, I think the Blue Jackets were hoping to get this deal done sooner than later, but it just, it's just the way the timing went. But you're absolutely right. It's 3 major events in one day.
Yeah, it's a lot going on. What do you anticipate, if anything, being newsworthy coming out of Indianapolis with the Buckeyes in the Big Ten?
Everyone keeps asking me, is Ryan going to announce the quarterback? And I go back and forth. If he's really set on Will Howard, which I think smart money thinks he is, why not just do it? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I'm kind of hoping he does, so we get it out there and it's on the table, and we don't have to go into camp and all this. Because I think coming out of the spring that they were leaning that way, although they wouldn't say it, but I think that's where they're leaning. So if it was me, I'd get that thing out, because you and I both know that if they're going to win a national championship, if they're going to do the kind of things everyone's hoping for, it's going to start at the quarterback position. And
I couldn't agree with you more.
If they've settled on Will Howard, then get it out there.
I think one of the mistakes, I talked about the Browns yesterday. In fact, I talked about the Browns sometimes doing this a little bit too, is there's this thing that teams do where where they prolong things, or they try to keep it secret, or we'll give it to you when we're good and ready. And all it does is add to their plate. And I'm with you. My hunch is Ryan Day knows who's going to be the starting quarterback, and barring some sort of injury or whatever, they know exactly who Devin Brown is. They know exactly who Lincoln Kienholz is. They got a decent idea, although it's short with Noland and Julian Sayin. But they've gotten 6 months to look at Will Howard. They know what he is and what he's not. And he's started the more games than anybody else. They brought him in here to play. He's certainly acting like the starter. I'm with you. I don't know if we'll get it, but I hope we do. I hope we do get an answer on that.
Well, I just think, if you get it out there, then that's off the table.
Yes.
Because that's all anybody keeps asking. Who's going to be a starting quarterback? And it's not like if he makes the announcement today, 3 of these guys are going to go in the transfer portal. It's not open right now. And we all know it's going to be a long season. We all know that when Ohio State won their last national championship, they needed 3 quarterbacks.
Yep.
And this team is poised with some talented people, quarterback. Devin Brown has been fighting the injury bug. I want to see him healthy and what he can do. We have not seen that in a game-like situation. But Will Howard comes in here for a reason. They went and picked this kid, and they brought him here for a reason. So you got to believe he was brought in here to play for at least this year. I mean, he's got 1 year. So if he is the guy, and they know he's the guy, just get it out there.
You ever eaten shark?
What is it, shark?
Have you ever eaten shark?
I do not. No, I have not, and I'll tell you why. I don't eat them, and hopefully they don't eat me.
It's an agreement?
Well, you know, I just think first of all, and I'll tell you another reason why you don't want to eat shark.
Yeah.
Apparently, they urinate through their skin.
Oh, for God's sakes!
I found
that'll do it.
Yeah.
Where'd you track that down?
I think that's correct. Do you know that they don't have bones? They have cartilage. And do you know that if you go one way on a shark's body, it's as smooth as a baby's behind? You go the other way, and it's a bunch of little razor blades. They got little teeth on their skin. And do you know the most aggressive shark there is?
Bull shark?
It's not a great white. Yeah, bull shark. More testosterone than any animal in the animal kingdom.
See, I'm going to Massachusetts and Maine tomorrow, and we're going to get in the ocean and hope for the best.
Well, let me tell you what. You don't want to go in there up there because that is the breeding ground of the great whites, and you don't want to play with those guys.
We can't get it to stay out.
Jaws was filmed up there. It was filmed. Amity is
it's Nantucket, is it?
Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah,
no,
Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah,
okay.
Listen. I don't know a lot, but I do know a lot about sharks.
Yes, you do. You do.
The bull shark they've swam up the Mississippi River and they've caught them in Minnesota. They can live in fresh or salt water. Don't mess with sharks. These people, oh, yeah, it's great.
No, not. All right. Lesson learned. We'll heed your advice. Good talking to you, buddy.
Thanks. Thank you.
A little bit of Tom Tiberi on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. The Real Truth coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here in the Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here in the Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
We buy any car.
Why sell your car at WeBuyAnyCar.com? Because selling it yourself can be, well, you know.
Okay, I'll give you half now.
And?
No, and just half.
What? Avoid the hassle. Come to We Buy Any Car instead. Get in, get out, and get paid at a fair price.
Yeah, I can't do half. I could probably bump it up to like 50%.
Just go.
Okay.
Get your free online valuation now at
WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
At Pella, we use the newest technology to show you exactly how new windows would look on your home.
Well, we keep it simple at our window place. We use a number 2 pencil to draw what your house will look like with our new windows. See?
Oh, yeah. That definitely looks like a number 2.
Thank you, Leslie. Wait. I see what you did there.
Get the windows that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. In 23 NHL seasons, the Columbus Blue Jackets have had 10 head coaches. Dean Evason will be the 11th and will lead the CBJ into their 24th NHL season. Evason will be introduced at a press conference this morning at 10. We'll carry his comment 10:30, excuse me. It's 10 right now. We'll carry his comments live on The Fan. In 3 full seasons with the Wild, the 59-year-old Evason made the playoffs each year. In college football, Big Ten Media Days begin today in Indianapolis. It's a 3-day event at Lucas Oil Stadium. Conference Commissioner Tony Petitti will open things speaking at 11 a.m. Ohio State's Ryan Day will talk around 12:45. We'll carry those comments live on The Fan when he takes the podium. Joining their head coach in Indianapolis are players Emeka Egbuka, Jack Sawyer, and Denzel Burke. And in baseball, the Reds look for their second win in a row. Cincinnati continues in Atlanta tonight at 7:20. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Drink recommendations, movie reviews, sports discussion, and whatever the hell Reeser does. This is Bishop and Friends.
And hey there, friends, it's Bo Bishop here, and I'm proud to tell you about my friends at Diamond Cellar. You're dreaming of a wedding band as unique as your love story? Join Diamond Cellar for their wedding weekend. It's the 26th and 27th. It's this weekend. Diamond Cellar has been helping you craft your love story for over 77 years. You don't be around that long unless you know what you're doing and you're doing things right. And for one weekend only, they are offering 20% off custom-designed wedding bands. They guarantee the best prices, unparalleled quality. Let their expert jewelers bring your vision to life with a custom creation. The possibilities are literally endless. Check out their wedding weekend. It's this weekend, July 26th and 27th at Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road. Time for a little bit of the real truth. Hit it, fellas.
Bishop and Friends present The Real Truth.
Sponsored by Diamond Cellar. Over 76 years of experience and guaranteed lowest prices on Sawmill Road or diamondcellar.com.
All right, first one up today. LeBron is going to drag Team USA to a gold medal if he has to. Is that the real truth?
So I got to tell you something. I didn't have that LeBron James was going to be the most important player on Team USA, but he is. He's playing the most minutes. He has the ball in his hands to win games, and he's had to do so 3 or 4 times already, including last night against Germany. It speaks to 2 things. It speaks to how good the rest of the world has gotten at basketball, that a country like South Sudan, it's amazing what's happened since 92 around the globe with the sport, but that a country like South Sudan can go toe-to-toe with Team USA. Remember, the Dream Team in 92 opened with Angola and won by like 80. And so that's how far the rest of the world has come in the sport. Like this German team that the Team USA played, they got pros. Like, you know, France is going to be a full day. Canada's a full day. Like, it's a lot different. And then the other thing it just speaks to, as you think about LeBron James's candidacy for greatest player of all time, I think one thing that is unequivocally true is that LeBron James is the most dominant, durable athlete to ever play the sport. The idea that at approaching 40, 20 years into the league, he's the best player on a Team USA that's made up of a bunch of young guys, and that he gets the clutch minutes and has the ball in his hands. I mean, Steve Kerr's using him the way he uses Draymond, except it's LeBron. Like, it's crazy what's happening and how much goes through him. So all of those things are big things, and yes, I think it probably is the real truth.
Yeah, I mean, when you say that he's the most dominant and most durable player, you know, probably in NBA history, and then you start to think about it, like, at least for the major North American sports, because who knows, maybe there's a cricket star who's played into his 50s or something, I don't know. But it's basically like LeBron is in a category with, like, the Tom Brady's. Some pitchers would definitely enter that, and maybe Gretzky. Yeah. Like, nobody else, like, comes close to 2 decades of, like, dominance like that. And so, and then he's on this Team USA, and it's like, oh, man, hasn't he had his run? And it's like, no, he's not just on this team for the flowers. He wants to win still. LeBron cannot turn that mentality off. And I agree. I was listening to some of you guys yesterday when we were in the car, and you were talking about South Sudan, and like I didn't know that there was a South Sudan, and I was like, yeah, I agree with you. Also, Peter Jock on that team, if you remember him 5 years ago or so at Iowa, that stood out to me when I was watching that one. But I thought maybe that one was like, maybe they were just taking it easy. They were out in Abu Dhabi or whatever. Maybe they partied the night before and didn't take South Sudan very seriously. But then they go and do this against Germany, and it requires LeBron in a close game to score the last 11 points. And it's like, no, they can get got. So it was 2 weeks ago, I think, that in The Real Truth I said the Team USA would not win the gold medal. And we're like, nah, no way. They're still just ahead of this. But it's on the table now. I still think they're the best team in there, but they're beatable. We've seen it the last 3-4 days or whatever.
Yeah, he's going to be Captain America. It is The Real Truth. He's going to be Captain America in this thing. Like, literally, going to carry the flag in to the opening ceremonies. And then if he has to, damn, he's going to walk out with a gold medal.
It might be like his last moment, last triumph, because that Laker team ain't doing anything.
Hey, they could go back-to-back in that in-season tournament.
Win gold, play with his son, retire?
Yeah, that's it. I think this is, that's going to, because you're not champion. So I think this is kind of the way, flag bearer, all of it. So for perspective, the 92 Dream Team faced 5 NBA players in the Olympics. The 24 Dream Team will face 59 NBA players. That's the difference.
Almost 12 times as many. Wow.
Yeah, that's what's happened.
And that means there's NBA level players on every team now.
Every team
about Angola, there's no NBA players on then.
Yeah,
back
Wayne
in
and Gabriel
92.
played there. He was a Laker. They got pros. Everybody's got pros.
Deshaun Watson will play at least one series in all 3 of the Browns' preseason games. Is that the real truth?
I think the spirit of this is the real truth, but no, this is not the real truth, and I'll tell you why. Their second preseason game is against Minnesota. Those are their team workouts where they have the joint practices. So they will treat the joint practices of the preseason game, and the second preseason game for the Browns will be all depth. No starters will play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the new trend.
Is that
they
one
did that
in
with
Minnesota,
Philly.
or is Minnesota coming to Cleveland?
I can't even remember what it is. I know they finish at Seattle.
Minnesota's in Cleveland.
Okay, so that game, if you're somebody going like, oh, I'd like to go to a Browns preseason game, if you want to see anybody who's worth anything, that ain't it. There will be nobody of value in that game because the Vikings will do the same thing. They did this with Philly the last couple of years, so they do the joint practices with Philly. So then the real work is done in the joint practices, and the preseason game is nothing.
I think I heard you talking yesterday about, the logistics of last preseason game, having to go all the way out to Seattle for a 10 p.m. Eastern start time. Like, that's crazy stuff. But it is, in a weird way, can you make some lemonade out of lemons with the situation and say, actually, it's a pretty good experience to get Deshaun Watson ready, that you're going out to a stadium where they care. I know it's a preseason game, but you'd think that there'd be some people there. They like to get loud in Seattle. It's a long trip. It's a weird start time for the game. That might be some of the good stuff to get under his belt. So while, no, it's not the situation you would choose, you can maybe get something out of it. And then with Minnesota being at home and what they'll get out of the joint practices, that seems like a correct read from you. And you're the GM, so you would know.
This isn't so much as a read as like, this is what's happening. This is as direct as I can be. That's what's happening.
Yeah, this is... I still don't think teams really know what to do with 3 preseason games. I think it's still a little bit foreign for them, and especially for the Browns, that late game in Seattle. It's like, how much do you really want Watson out there at 10 o'clock at night running around? They'll have 14 days off between that game against the Seahawks and the opener against the Cowboys. So, yeah, I think just managing how he feels will be key, and you can kind of base it off of that if he even gets legitimate reps against the Seahawks.
Among NFL circles, it's popular opinion that they'll go down to 2 preseason games if they go to the 18-team schedule. Because you also probably have less cutdowns, because I think that's a guarantee they're going to have to give is 53 is too small for an 18-game season.
I think you'll see rosters in the 60s, and I think you'll see 2 preseason games, and I think I think they will use some of the regular season games. I think you'll just see different. You're going to have to see different substituting. Like, NFL teams typically don't play like the backups when they're up big in the fourth quarter. They just let the starters kind of play it out unless it's a running back. I think you'll see backups play a lot more in the regular season to try to rest.
Among players in Indy at Big Ten Media Days this week, Emeka Egbuka is the most likely winner of the Chicago Tribune Silver Football this season. By the way, 100th anniversary of that. First one was given out in 1924.
So, okay, among players, is this among Buckeye players or among players at large?
Players at large.
So Dylan Gabriel, I guess, is not going to be there?
Dylan Gabriel, I think, is there. There's not very many QBs. There's Hudson Card at Purdue, Ethan Garbers at UCLA, so don't need to worry about that one. Oregon does have Dylan Gabriel going, though, yes.
So then, no, not the real truth. Dylan Gabriel would be the most likely winner of the silver football. I think Emeka would be whoever plays quarterback has got a hell of a shot. One of the running backs has a hell of a shot. And then Emeka would slide in behind that, even on this Buckeye team. So I think I would say no. I would say if you're doing most likely, I think it's Dylan Gabriel. I don't think necessarily he's going to win it, but I think he's the most likely.
I wonder, Marv won it last year, so I just wonder if Emeka could be in a position where a lot of people who really study the game, like PFF guys and national beat reporters, and these are the guys who, were the voters for these kind of things, they're aware of how good Emeka Egbuka is, even though he missed so much of last year, and there's a lot of people who have a lot of high hopes on it. So I think it is, but yeah, Dylan Gabriel was a good one to put out. I was looking through some of the names, and I was having a hard time, but Gabriel is definitely a good one. One of the players,
he's the one.
Yeah, one of the players I really like offensively is Rutgers running back Kyle Monungai, but he's not. Their team's not going to be good enough to win the silver football.
Yeah, it likely Gabriel with the best odds. I think they did. USA Today and Doug Maurice both did preseason Big Ten questions amongst beat writers, and Kyle Monungai did get some love amongst those. But it's the quarterbacks first, and whoever, like Bo said, gets the starter here, and then Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the playing Penn State last night with the fellas. That dude who plays defensive end at Penn State is unblockable. We got some problems on the right side.
Jay Thomas or Jalen? Is that
both? They're both really good, but the one he comes off the right side and he just wreaked havoc.
Get this, God, Penn State, a defensive end, a defensive back, a tight end. Drew Aller not going.
Drew Aller is not there.
No,
they just suck.
Right? Like, I understand that the Ohio State quarterback situation, they didn't bring one. The likely starter is a transfer.
That's ridiculous.
And you don't know exactly who's the starter. But how is Drew Aller not at Big Ten Media Days? That's almost like a top-down thing to no, a player like Drew Aller needs to be there. That's the whole point of this stuff.
By the way, in playing Penn State last night, one of the things that comes up is rivalry game. So suck on that, Penn State.
How's
rivalry
Julian
game.
Fleming in that?
I didn't notice him. Aller threw 4 picks to us, though.
That's more picks than he threw last year.
That tracks.
5-minute quarters.
Yeah, he threw 4 picks. We couldn't do anything offensively, but we had 4 picks, including 1 pick six, so we were able to get the Vic.
Last one today. I cannot tell you the name of the new Dragon Rider from Sunday's House of the Dragon.
So normally we review this, but there's just so much going on today, we didn't have time. We have a couple minutes here where we can review it. You cannot... it's like every time I think that they're headed in the right direction, they do something like this and totally redeem themselves negatively. You cannot introduce a character in an episode, and that because I think introduced him in this episode.
I think he's been around.
Sort of.
He's been around a lot during the season, but it's very
he's never
sporadic.
talked. Has he talked? He's just kind of in the background.
So
I've never seen this guy talk.
You learn he's a child of the sea snake, and
yes.
He's been around in episodes having conversations with someone who is his brother, also a child of the sea snake.
And then they reveal, or you're supposed to know that his brother. So there's the bald one and the one with the hair, and the one with the hair is Adam. He rode Sea Smoke there at the end, but we didn't get to see him. We just saw his approach, obviously. And then the other one is his half brother. They have the same dad. Their dad is the Sea Snake. Yeah. His name is Alan, and the only reason I know this is because I got to watch the show with my maester, and it actually worked out. She's so into it, she watched it Sunday night, just went away from the family and everything. We were all hanging out. She went to go watch it, and I didn't, and I just watched it in the car ride yesterday. And so there was many times where I could just pause it and be like, so what's this? Okay. What's going on here? And it makes it really easy to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, the idea that the one guy's shaving his head so his blonde hair doesn't come through, all of that stuff, is pretty wild. No, I think it's a pretty piss-poor job. The other thing I would say the last couple of episodes since the big fight, I don't need to see Damon with more visions. I'm visioned out. It's
Harrenhal should have been done last episode, not this one.
It's 4 episodes of him dreaming at Harrenhal, and I don't need Rhaenyra contemplating things over views anymore. Let's go. Okay, you wanted to get to this point. get to it. I contend that there was so much good stuff that they breezed through, really action-packed stuff, and the reward was supposed to be this season, and we've had a lot of just more talking nonsense, no action.
Well, you know what I never realized is while they do have the full source material of what happened, it's written it's fictional, obviously, but it's written as a historical text. So a lot of the dialogue and actual character interactions, that's stuff that the creators of this show had to make on their own.
Oh.
Because it's just written, these were the events and the people involved and how they happened. That's how the book is written. And again, my maester was explaining that to me.
Well, you've got a maester. I think all of us could. I think anytime you throw somebody on a dragon and I don't know his name, that's probably not a good thing. All right, coming up next, we will have a press conference. We have a new head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. What do we want to hear from Dean Evason? He is coming up at 10:33 with the presser. We'll get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Valley Ford of Columbus is proud to announce the grand opening of their new Commercial Truck Center. Centrally located off I-270, the new Valley Ford of Columbus Commercial Truck Center features expert sales, service, and parts for your business. Choose from over 300 commercial trucks and vans ready for delivery right now. From the area's best selection of transit vans, E-Series, Super Duty, light duty pickups, and more. It's all at Valley, including Ford E-Transit vans too. Need upfits? In-stock specialty upfits include dump and stake beds, plows, utility beds, lift gates, box and reefer bodies, and much more. The Valley Commercial Truck Team has 50-plus years of commercial sales experience and over $80 million in commercial truck inventory across all locations, with over $1 million in parts inventory at each location. I was in getting my Mustang's oil changed, and I saw some commercial trucks getting serviced at Valley Ford. They take care of you. The new Valley Ford of Columbus Commercial Truck Center on Kime Circle in Hilliard. Online at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. Oh, yeah, and if you're not looking for a commercial truck, they've got a ton of F-150s with great financing right now. valleyfordofcolumbus.com.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
This season on Nada Yada Island.
When we were new, they spoiled me. They even gave me a phone. But then, it's like I didn't exist.
Don't take yada yada from your wireless carrier. Now with Metro, get that new customer feeling again and again. Introducing Metro Flex. Free 5G phones when you join, same deals as new customers when you stay. Only at Metro by T-Mobile. Just bring your number and ID and sign up for an eligible plan. After 12 months, trade in and get our best deals on select devices.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444-ROOF.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on The Fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and The Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
This is Pre-Tection. Yep, Pre-Tection. The everyday skin protection ritual that protects your skin from mosquitoes. Pre-barbecue. Pre-playground. Pre-everything. Pre-every day. Prevention is the best protection. This summer, make sure you have OFF, the #1 dermatologist recommended repellent brand. SC Johnson, a family company.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today we're going to be looking at a few showers with a high around 86. Dry overnight tonight with a low of 67. Foggy on your Wednesday morning. And in fact, visibilities can be under a quarter of a mile. And then the fog burns off by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Looking at a partly cloudy day with a few showers and thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
Hey guys, it's Chops here, and are you sick of that slice? You're tired of those 3 putts? What if I told you that your handicap isn't about your swing? It's about your weight. Why not take the strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with Awaken 180? We're talking 10 strokes off by August. Okay, disclaimer. I don't know if for sure that's going to happen, but it's definitely linked that if you're not carrying around as much weight, your golf game can improve, and you can start carrying around less weight, 40 pounds even, with Awaken 180. I lost 95 pounds, and I've kept it off now for well over a year, and my golf game hasn't gotten much better, but I will say when I went out there with some friends in October last year, I was able to walk around the course and do a lot more than I ever used to be. So it is something that really works. So if you want to give it a shot, do what I did, do what Austin Ward did, do what Scotty Vegas did. Give Awaken 180 a call, or you can reach them online, awaken180weightloss.com. And Bishop and Friends, we're sponsored by Awaken 180, fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss, Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
New Blue Jacket head coach Dean Evason is going to address the assembled media here in about 9 minutes. So we'll break a little bit early to try to hit that thing right at 10:30 for y'all. What do you want to hear from him? First of all, like I saw, blanking on his first name, Russo, the guy who covers the Minnesota Wild, put out a tweet yesterday of a video campaign they did of like his intensity that showed that he had a pretty good sense of humor. They were basically like shoving each other after a win, and it shows him like having like a catcher's shield on so that like the shoves didn't hurt, like he was kind of playing into that a little bit. So I think that's what you're looking for. It would be so disingenuous of me, guys, to sit up here and tell you like that I know if this is a good hire or not. I have no idea.
Oh, come on. Do it for the sports talk radio-ness.
It'd just be silly.
Porty was on with the Juicers this morning, and I got to hear most of that interview actually driving in this morning. And so the point of, well, he was pretty successful for those 4 full seasons he got in Minnesota, and they are under the same type of salary cap issues that the Blue Jackets might face. So he's got some experience building a team like that. But what I really took from Porty's insider information, because you're right, Dean Evason, it's not like I know who this guy is, like actually all in and all out. But it sounds like, well, you like what you were saying, that he's a little bit more, because it's not that he's like super easygoing, but he's definitely not, and I think this is the word Porty used, authoritarian, the way that like a John Tortorella is. But on Morning Juice, he was talking, Porty, about the idea that he's probably a little bit more acclimated to letting some of the older guys run the locker room a little bit more and bring that up instead of just him as the coach, my way or the highway. So we'll see if that helps everybody gel a little bit better. But we've always been on this show of the opinion that, like, let's get the young guys start playing. But if that, we'll see what that looks like.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there are big questions out there, too. There's still no deal for Line A. We don't know what's going to happen there. It looks like they've done everything this offseason to make sure you get whatever the best of Johnny Gaudreau is, that you see it next season with the acquisition of a former teammate there. Obviously, Elvis is back, and they're hoping for the best on that side of things. But, like, they got Ken Johnson stuff that got to be developed. They got a bunch of young guys who need to take big steps, Reese.
Yeah, the thing, I'll just say this. It's a multi-year deal for Evason. So
Yeah.
This isn't going to be like it has been in previous seasons with this organization. So it feels like this was a guy that Waddell, they'd had 12 before the draft, then they had 3, then the Todd McClellan stuff fell apart, and Evason's the guy they circled. Evason's the guy they gave a multi-year deal to. So, look, in what, there's 4 full seasons with the Minnesota Wild, they punched a little bit, again, talking to somebody who follows a little closer in Ryan Baker, they punched above their weight class a couple of years the Minnesota Wild did, but they made the playoffs.
Yeah, I think what we all hope here, and even the people who are, the gross many of you out there who are incredibly invested in the day-to-day and the 25,000 of you who show up and watch every game and do all of those things, what everybody who's dialed into this would want is this just built once right. And I just think we keep hearing about how great this system is. We keep hearing about how great these young players are. I just want them to be developed right. I am not interested in chasing the 8. I don't have any interest in that whatsoever. Like, I want, and I think what everybody wants is a true cup build. And if you have this farm system that is as good as everybody says it is, then by God, let's have them all kind of come up and grow together, and hopefully we have something in 2 or 3 years, because I don't need any sense of urgency in terms of getting to be the sacrificial lamb for a 1 seed. And yes, I know we actually won one of those once, but if that's the high watermark of your franchise, that ain't very damn high.
And that's going to be the hard part about like quantifying success this year in the first year of Evason, because it's really good that it looks like multi-year guy with experience already being a head coach, and they can bring him in. But how are we going to know that like this was good, because it's still probably a gap year for the Blue Jackets. Yeah,
might be a gap too,
possibly. But it should be Evason there the whole time.
Yeah, that's all I want. This is the leadership now of the operation, the organization going forward. So we're going to break a little earlier than normal right now. On the other side of this quick timeout, you will hear that press conference from Nationwide Arena. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Okay, so that's the final price. Oh, an extra fee to drive here. Is that it? A knock on the door fee. So is that the final price? A 15% Wednesday surcharge? What for? Oh, because it's Wednesday. Of course. Can I get back to you on this?
Apex Pros, the pros who knows.
This quote you gave me, are there any other charges I don't know about?
Other charges?
Like an it's too sunny fee or my dog wet the carpet tax.
No, Apex always gives you upfront pricing.
No surprise fees?
Never.
No charge if your stomach hurts or you lost your library card?
Upfront pricing every time at Apex Pros, whether it's plumbing, heating, and AC, or our new electrical services.
I'll call you right back. Hello, other company? Hi, me again.
It's Alex, the friendly Apex Bear. You'll never get a surprise charge with the Apex Pros upfront price guarantee. Schedule an appointment now at apexpros.com.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. I was in my Lexus the other day. It was hot as hell, but I was so thankful for my ventilated seats. I'm not saying that's why you should buy one. It's just very nice. Right now at Jermaine Lexus, it's the Golden Opportunity Sales Event with lease payments as low as $499 a month and 3.99% financing on select models. Get this, the RZ is 0%. I have been a Jermaine customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Jermaine Lexus, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
If you're obsessed with fantasy sports and gambling things, we have the slightly above average radio show for you. On the Money with Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Wednesday night at 8 on The Fan.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
Find great prices on summer favorites this week at Meijer. Get fresh local blueberries for $1.49 and Meijer chips 3 for $5. Plus, the 7 for $7 sale is back. Mix or match hundreds of items and pay just $1 each when you pick any 7 or more. Eckrich hot dogs, Meijer ketchup, and select Coca-Cola products, plus deposit where applicable. To round out your summer cookout, shop low Meijer prices and the 7 for $7 sale this week only. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in store or in the Meijer app.
Boss on your back? Break away from the office and head on over to Delaware Golf Club. Grab a group, play 18, and afterwards unwind with a drink by the Fire Pit Bar and Patio. Online booking makes it easy to secure your tee time. So come check out Central Ohio's home for premier golf at Delaware Golf Club.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers, the people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Come play Skyline's 75th Coney Hunt game. Use your phone to search for virtual conies, tap to collect coins, and redeem them for exclusive Skyline merchandise at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. Details at skylinechili.com/coneyhunt.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
And the Fan is now on YouTube. Watch your favorite shows live. Check out the videos, YouTube Shorts. How do you find us? Head to the YouTube and search 971 The Fan. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fan's new YouTube channel. Awaiting the introductory press conference down at Nationwide. New head coach Dean Evason. He is the man in charge of this thing going forward. He'll be introduced down at the arena here momentarily, and when he gets to the podium, we will have that for you. Look, this is an introduction for a gross many of us. There are people out there, obviously, who follow this day to day, who have a little bit of intellectual knowledge of them. People like Porty, who are really locked into the league, who cover it every day. But there's this old thing of how do you win a press conference? There's value in that. I think some people scoff at it. I think there's value in creating some excitement with a head coach, and I think that's something that you're kind of looking for here. I think philosophically, there's a lot that I'm curious about. What is his view on playing young guys? Does he want to throw them in the fire and see who can come out of it alive, or is he more of a wait and see, slowly build? I think he knows, because he was in Minnesota, he knows that there is a fan base here that is very hungry for success, but at the same time, I think a fan base that is pretty sophisticated, more than people give it credit for, and is aware that it's a certain type of success that you crave, not the minimum level of just trying to track down a spot in the postseason. So I think philosophically there will be some interesting things that come of this as well. They've gone through a lot of coaches here. That it's time for one to stick. The way Porty stuck, the way that Hitch stuck, they need this one to land the plane for sure.
Yeah, they've done four coach searches over the last 3 summers. That's not a plan for winning. With Evason, too, something I'm interested, somebody in the group chat was saying, 3 100-plus point seasons, went to the playoffs 4 times with the Wild, but then was very disappointing and couldn't get the team to advance ever in the playoffs. So I would be interested, what did you learn from your experience in Minnesota and then over the last couple of seasons with not being in charge of a team in the postseason? What have you learned in that time that you would do differently with the Blue Jackets? That's something that I like. What's your experience taught you about how to approach the postseason now? Because he does look like he's able to get a team to overperform and get to 100-point seasons. That's something that we would love from the Jackets.
I'll also say this. What he doesn't get asked today in this press conference, maybe Rothman and Ice will ask him that when he joins them at 1:33 this afternoon.
Yes, everybody's loaded up, kids. They're all loaded up. Everybody's loaded up.
Busy as hell.
We got a Ryan Day presser on Rothman and Ice today as well.
Yeah, that's true. So just looking at this, I was trying to think how many Blue Jackets coaches have a winning record? Obviously, Torts, Todd Richards, and Ken Hitchcock. Those are the three that have had it. So since Tortorella, we went Brad Larson, and then Babcock never coached a game, and then Pascal Vincent, and now Dean Evason, who will be introduced here momentarily. It's a big time move, and this is the complete redirection of the franchise from the Jarmo Kekalainen, John Davidson Columbus Blue Jackets into this version of the Blue Jackets going forward. And there is a lot on the line. This is a fan base that's waited a long time. So you've waited for this. Here's your new coach. He's Dean Evason. Let's head down to Nationwide.
We know it's a busy week here in the market, especially for you guys. So we appreciate you coming out for what's going to be an exciting day for us in a new era. We're going to start. Our President General Manager, Don Waddell, will make a few remarks. Our new head coach will make a few remarks, and we'll turn it over for your questions. We also have some folks joining us on Zoom. So if you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get you a mic, ask you to identify yourself and who you're with for the benefit of these gentlemen, and then we'll take some questions via Zoom. So with that, I'll turn it over to Don.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you for coming out here this morning, and thank you for your patience through this process. As I said a month ago or so, we had a lot of things to get done, but also provide us the opportunity to really do our due diligence on who the next coach would be. I thank Mike Priest and obviously the McConnell family for our support in supporting this decision 100%. I'd like to introduce Dean Evason. Dean has been was a player, coach, assistant coach, head coach in Minnesota. I think his winning percentage in Minnesota is almost 640. We went through the process. The one thing that Dean really brought to the table that I really believe after being here for the month and a half that we needed was the passion, the structure, the process that he's going to put in place to make the players accountable. And we all talked about it back when I was hired. That was an important thing for this organization to be able to take the next step. We felt like we have some good young players to go with our veterans, but we needed a better structure, and we're very pleased to be able to announce that Dean Evason is our new head coach.
Thank you, Don. Start by thanking obviously the McConnell family and Mike Priest, and of course Don and his staff for trusting that we can come in, that I can come in as a head coach and continue building here in Columbus what ultimately we want to get accomplished, and that's the Stanley Cup. There's a process to that, obviously steps to that we are going to work through, but as Don just said, the accountability factor, the structure, the discipline, the details, that again we are just going to continue to build into our ultimate goal of winning the Stanley Cup.
We'll take your questions. If you have one, please raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. Start front left.
Craig Merz, NHL.com. Todd, happy birthday.
Thanks, Merz.
Wait, how old is he?
How old do you look, or how old are you?
57.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Mersey.
Youngster.
This is your one question.
And you answered it. How well did you know Don going into this process, and what was necessary for you to feel comfortable with him and the whole organization?
Zero, except his reputation. Spoke to a lot of people, watched his career, and didn't know all about his career, his playing career and all that. Got to know a lot about that here, communicating with him the last few times that we've talked, and excited about the opportunity. The one thing that struck me immediately from the first time that I spoke to Don was his communication and his honesty, his straightforward attitude, and it's continued. So I knew right from the start that if this worked out, that we had a good foundation, no different than we talk about our teams, a good foundation to start with and to work from. Excited obviously to be here, and before I forget, because Don mentioned to me, you better thank your wife before you move on. So I'll thank my wife and my children and obviously my family. When you have this happen, and there's 32 jobs in the National Hockey League, and as a head coach, it's not lost how special this is and how appreciative I am for this opportunity. But a lot of people go into the process of getting to this point, and my wife and my family are a huge part of who I am and why I'm sitting here today.
We'll go front center.
Dave Metzel, Valley Sports, Ohio. Happy birthday, Todd.
Oh, not everybody's going to do that.
Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to do it all day long.
Oh, my God.
Dean, you inherit a team that a lot of people are talking about because of so many good young prospects. What do you like about this team that you're going to start coaching here this fall?
Everything as far as the core group. Yeah, a lot of people talk about the young players, but what about the structure or the core group that we have here that's been here for a while? They're really good too, right? I don't know what's happened in the past, right? I mean, you can speculate, you can look from the outside in, but I don't know exactly how they've conducted themselves within the room and how they are as a team and how they play for each other. I don't know that yet, but that's my job, and that's the coaching job and management's job to put the people in place and then to get them to play hard each and every night. So everything excites me right now because I don't know exactly what we have in that room, but I do know from the outside looking in, it's fantastic on paper, right? And it's my job and the coach's job to get the best out of them to play hard every night. And I have no doubt that we will do that, and we'll do that very quickly.
Second row right.
Hey, Dean, Brian Hedger with the Columbus Dispatch. Nice to see you.
Got a text from you yesterday.
That's right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Columbus.
Thank you.
I'm wondering, as a coach, each team has different rosters and they're made up differently. Yep. Do you feel like a coaching strategy can fit any team, or do you feel like you kind of need to fiddle with that a little bit, per roster that you are overseeing?
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic question. I believe that you have to have a structure. You have to have how you're going to play the game as far as your systematic stuff but then it needs to be tweaked by who your personnel is and how your team is built. But you have to have a foundation. You have to know how you're going to play. And our team will play with great detail, with great structure, but we'll also give them the opportunity to be creative in the offensive zone and through the neutral zone. The game's made of mistakes. You got to build your system to allow the players to make those mistakes and still give them a chance to have success. So we'll have that structure put in place for sure, through video, through teaching, through training camp, through practice, through preseason. And hopefully we're dialed right in for game one because we're playing somewhere in game one that I am familiar with. Hopefully we'll have that right away, but then we will tweak it for our roster and who is playing on our hockey team. So I think there's a little bit of both involved in there.
Go to the back row left.
Hi, Coach. Welcome to Columbus. You're coming from an organization that's a consistent, or a team that consistently made the playoffs, and now you're coming to an organization that's looking to get back to that point. So I guess my question is, what kind of challenge does that provide you?
You know what? This is a hard league, right? I mean, it's the best league in the world, the best players. It's so even all across the board. I don't care, any given night you can get beat, and obviously, but there's a process that I'll mention a lot about winning the Stanley Cup, because that's our goal. Our goal is to win the Stanley Cup, but to get there, you got to make the playoffs, then you got to win 1, 2, 3, and 4 rounds. We were in the playoffs in Minnesota a lot. We didn't have success yet. That's what we're building towards. We want to get there, and then we want to take that next step. So You learn from all of the situations that you've been in, that I've been in as a head coach in the National Hockey League. Hopefully, I know that I've learned from those situations. When we get back to that spot, we'll be in a better spot.
All right, there you go. That's new Columbus Blue Jackets head coach Dean Evason, available down at Nationwide Arena. Two things jumped out to me really quickly here. The fact that he didn't know Don Waddell is pretty wild to me, because that tells me Waddell did not get the guy that he wanted, which I think we all know is probably McClellan. And so he had to pivot, and that's what led to this. They came together quickly. They view things in a similar way. You know you're going to get that. But the idea that he had no intellectual knowledge, did not know Don Waddell other than reputation, to me tells me that they had to go in a different way than they initially intended. The other thing that, this was a lot of lip service, but at one point he said the core, not talking about the young guys, but the core is fantastic on paper. It's not fantastic on paper. This is a bad hockey team the last 2 years, and there's no magic juice that a coach is going to bring and then all of a sudden make him a top 4 seed in the East. This is a long build. He can't say that at a press conference, but I took note of that, and I hope what we get here is a true youth movement and a true build at once the right way, and I think we will. So I'm just going to take that kind of with a grain of salt. You can't come up here and say, look, the roster's garbage. You can't say that, but they got a long way to go to be, you start talking about win 1, round 2, round 3. That's scaling Everest. We got to figure out how to put on and rappel a little bit before we can do something like that. So there it is. And of course he will join Rothman and Ice. What time was that, did you say, Reese?
1:33.
Okay, 1:33. He will join Rothman and Ice, so they'll have some more detailed questions. AR and Maddie will crush that, as they always do. Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
We've all heard the horror stories. Someone knocking on your door, offering a free roof inspection. Sure, sounds great, right? Only for them to go up and damage your shingles, cause a mess, and try to push a new roof through your insurance. Rather than dealing with the headache of filing vandalism claims, call a company you can trust, Newman Roofing. For 32 years, Newman Roofing has built a reputation of honesty and integrity right here in Central Ohio. They will assess whether your roof has sustained damage from recent storms or if it still has some life left. There's never any pushy sales tactics. They'll educate you about your roof's condition and answer any questions, giving you the peace of mind you deserve. So, whether you need a roof replacement or a simple repair, call the most trusted roofing company in Central Ohio, Newman Roofing. Visit online at newmanroofing.com or call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Common Man and T-Bone here. Visit Hollywood Casino Columbus this summer for exciting live sports action. We got the biggest screens around, and ESPN Bet is live in Ohio.
Plus, Penn Play Rewards members can win up to $500 Penn Cash every week. Visit PennPlaySports.com/cover5 today and register for your chance to play and win.
Not a member? Get the Penn Play app today.
Hollywood Casino Columbus is your live sports headquarters.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. Morning Juice.
If you would have told Ray Lewis in 1996 that Rutgers will beat Miami in a bowl game, he would have murdered you like he did that other guy.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Hi, it's me, Little Bob from Bob's Discount Furniture. I know, you don't know me yet, but I'm here to let you know that I'm opening up 2 brand new showrooms in the Columbus area, located in Reynoldsburg and Polaris, bringing even more of my everyday low prices to the people of Ohio. And if you can't wait, MyBobs.com is the quickest and easiest way to get unbeatable furniture prices delivered straight to your home today. That's my 2 brand new Bob's Discount Furniture stores coming to Reynoldsburg and Polaris this summer.
Get Bob's Discount!
Ready for all those summer get-togethers? Fill up your grocery basket at Giant Eagle. Their Deals for Days program features more than 1,000 deals on your favorite items. Barbecue parties or graduations are easier to plan when you buy at Giant Eagle. Learn more at gianteagle.com.
The summer sell-down is on at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Save thousands with bonus cash on select inventory. Plus, get another $2,500 off any new Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram with your trade. One Performance, 2 locations, Georgesville and Delaware.
Trade value based on KPP, comparable, 2010 model or newer, and price of $5K.
Ohio, ready for some quick mental health facts? Let's go. Nearly 2 million Ohioans live with a mental health condition. In the U.S., more than 50% of people will be diagnosed with a mental illness in their lifetime. Depression is a leading cause of disability worldwide. So why are some of us still stigmatizing people living with a mental health condition when we know all of this? Let's listen to the facts and beat the stigma. Ohio, challenge what you know about mental health at beatthestigma.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a Tuesday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
First one up today from up in Green Bay. The Packers and Jordan Love may be nearing an agreement on a contract extension, but until it's done, the starting quarterback won't participate in practice for any games this preseason. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst said Monday, shortly before the team's first practice of training camp, that Love's representatives informed him Saturday night of their plans before a deal gets done. Quote, "We completely understand where he's coming from," end quote. Love did report for training camp on time, and he did take part in meetings and other training camp activities except for practice. Previously, Love took part in the entire offseason program and the team's mandatory mini camp in June to fulfill requirements for a $500,000 workout bonus. When asked whether an extension would get done within a few days, Gutekunst said, "Yeah, I think so, but again, you never know. We're working really hard to get that done. At the same time, the thing I have confidence in is we both want the same thing," end quote. Thing or not a thing?
So this is not a thing because Jordan Love's not going to miss anything that matters. This is a thing in that this is what players are now doing versus holding out. So they report so they can't get fined, but they don't participate. Remember, Burrow did this last summer. You don't want to get hurt doing nonsense, so you don't participate, but you're there, you do the walkthroughs, but you don't do much else. So this is kind of the new trend in the NFL where there's a contract that's going to get done. It's close. We're ironing out. We're doing the final crossing of T's and dotting of I's. But at the same time, we don't want to get hurt. So we're just going to chill, and we'll get it done. So I think the thing is that this is going to be the new standard operating. The not a thing is if you're worried about Jordan Love missing anything significant, because he won't.
It's the hold-in trend.
Hold-in, yeah.
Yeah, this is not a thing. Like that he's done everything. It's similar to the Rodgers thing. Was he there with you for everything that he needed to be? Yes. What's the surprise? What's the conversation about here?
Although did you hear his explanation for everybody freaking out about?
I can't do Rodgers anymore.
Everything with him, it's like talking to my oldest, my 12-year-old. That's what it's like.
He's dancing around semantics all the time. Yes,
yeah, it's all semantics. It's all nonsense. But technically, okay, all right.
I mean, look, I do wish that he would come out and just say he's just taking drugs all the time and he's going to events to do drugs. But that's just me. Like, I understand. Yeah. I just don't care if he speaks because, yeah, it is. It's just a dance. In case you missed it last week at SEC Media Days, Conference Commissioner Greg Sankey was asked about Georgia being left out of the CFP. Quote, "That was one of the 4 best teams, period. We didn't stomp our feet. We didn't, fly banners over places. That was one of the 4 best teams. They lost 1 game in 2 years. Bad second half, second quarter, third quarter, and in the future, if they're 9-3 compared to a 10-2 or 11-1, the standard is not 10-2 or 11-1. It's the best teams," end quote. A couple people took that as a shot, maybe at a few teams, but one in particular, Florida State. Well, Monday at ACC Media Days, FSU's Mike Norvell was asked about those comments. Quote, I don't disagree that Georgia was one of the top 4 teams if you're judging off talent and ability, but they also earned their loss. That was part of the result of what happened on the field. When you look at our team and what it was, we controlled the things we could control. We unfortunately had an injury, but we had a team that responded to it. Everybody can have an opinion of what happened, but they earned their loss. End quote. Thing or not a thing?
Well, it's all a thing. Mike Norvell's approach is the correct approach, just as Greg Sankey's approach is the correct approach, because it's the approach that both of those guys are coming from. We've been telling you for years that the SEC is going to say our 9-3 is better than your 11-1. So now's when it's going to get put to the test. They're going to say it over and over again. Will it work? We'll find out. They've got an awful lot of power in the sport, as you very well know. One thing that I think sometimes gets lost in the Florida State conversation, if Jordan Travis and the backup didn't get hurt, they would have been the team. It was they weren't the same team. And so that's why they were left out. They deserved it. They played their way in, but it's a subjective process. We don't need to relitigate it. But I do think we've gotten to the point where some people forget that they were on their third quarterback for that game. And maybe the backup could have got back, maybe not. But they were incompetent at the quarterback position at the end of the year because of all the injuries.
You are right that the SEC is taking the correct approach to maximize their ability to get teams into the playoffs. Yes. Now, like you said, I don't want to relitigate our difference of opinion on the thing, but it's probably not the correct choice for exactly how sports should be built. But college football has never really been built along the same lines of other sports, and that's kind of the beauty of the sport in itself. It's also really weird that this is going on. I get it because of the SEC pushing this going forward, because Georgia definitely should have been in a 12-team playoff last year. But it's weird that the line now this week is talking between Georgia and Florida State, and it's Georgia didn't make the playoff either. No. And then they played each other, but FSU had 20-plus guys sitting out. It's so yes, that game was 63-3, but it wasn't really Florida State playing Georgia, so I don't know why we're comparing those two teams. Neither team made the playoff. Well, this one sent in from Stuart on an email, and I would have saved it for emails, but you're going to be gone the later part of this week.
Yeah.
Some information from the Cincinnati Enquirer on turtle soup. Apparently, it's mock turtle soup. It doesn't have any turtle in it. Here in Cincinnati, it remains a big part of not just our restaurant scene, but our butcher's shop cases, or our church festivals, and even our Major League Sports. Case in point, when Bengals owner Mike Brown hosts his annual media day event, he serves the press mock turtle soup. Some journalists are delighted, some not so much. So it doesn't actually have turtle in it.
Well, what the hell is it?
I don't know. I was trying to read through it and figure out what exactly it is, but it's got a bunch of spices, and apparently in some ways, consistency-wise, not taste-wise, compared to Cincinnati chili, the way it looks in the bowl.
No.
That's what the article says, at least.
They're both brown. That's about the extent of it. Listen, I'm shocked that it's not turtle. Go ahead, Reese.
Well, I'm going to read this from Wikipedia.
Okay.
Mock turtle soup is an English soup that was created in the mid-18th century as an imitation of green turtle soup. It often uses brains and organ meats, such as calf's head, to duplicate the texture and flavor of the original's turtle meat after the green turtles used to make the original dish were hunted nearly to extinction. In the United States, mock turtle soup eventually became more popular than the original dish and is still popular in Cincinnati.
Come on.
Apparently.
Let's go, Queen City. Let's go.
I'm going to tell you what. Bathroom?
It's delicious. If it's not a real turtle, so they're using beef. I wonder if they're using the beef organs. I don't know. It tastes really good. It's a really nice soup. I enjoy it. I don't see myself going back down there. But the next time I'm in Cincinnati for dinner and it's on a menu, I'm ordering it, baby. That's unbelievable. It's a mock?
Yeah, apparently. And it's still very popular. So it's not just Mike Brown, too. It is popular amongst Cincinnatians.
Cincinnati, they got that crazy chili that they do, and now they got this.
Put the turtle soup on spaghetti. Put some cheese with it, some onions. Let's just combine the two culinary experiences.
Mix it all up. 20 most interesting, the Bayou Bengals. Jacob Hester going to join us coming up at 11:33. Also, Tony Petitti speaking over in Indianapolis. We'll pay close attention to that. Lots to get to in the final hour. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
With surgery and drugs being the main options to treat chronic joint pain, that left orthopedic surgeons like Dr. Ray Tessner thinking,
geez, wouldn't it be nice if we can have another form of treatment that eliminates some of the downside and has a bigger upside as we learn more about it?
And then he found it. Regenerative medicine, an exciting, fast-growing approach to dealing with pain using healing agents from your own body.
Well, it's using the miracle benefits of the human body to help encourage healing.
Today, you'll find Dr. Tessner at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving patients lasting relief from joint pain in their knees, hips, shoulders, and back.
It's one of the best management tools that has come around in a long time.
Finally, options other than surgery and steroids. All natural regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. Learn more. Call today for your free consultation.
Go to QCkinetics.com/Columbus or call 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Ohio Basement Authority. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at ohiobasementauthority.com.
Direct auto insurance is for uncompromisers. Like Matt. When his old car insurance got so expensive, do you think he walked until his sneakers wore out? No, because he found savings with Direct Auto so he could drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25% on state minimum coverage, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a free quote at directauto.com or a store near you. Savings vary, terms apply. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Blue Jackets introduced Dean Evason this morning as the 11th head coach in franchise history. The 59-year-old Evason says he's impressed with the core group of players in the locker room and looks forward to working with this current CBJ roster. Evason will join Rothman and Ice this afternoon at 1:33. Jackets will open the regular season against his former team, the Minnesota Wild, on Thursday, October 10th. In college football, Ohio State's Ryan Day, along with Emeka Egbuka, Jack Sawyer, and Denzel Burke are in Indianapolis today for the start of Big Ten Media Days. The conference has 18 teams now. Coach Day will speak with the media around 12:45. We'll carry his comments live on The Fan. Buckeyes begin fall camp next Thursday. And in baseball, the Clippers return to Huntington Park on Tuesday to begin a 12-game homestand. First pitch for Diamond Dog Night against the Memphis Redbirds is 5:05. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
I am honest to God at my pets' heads are falling off stage of the program here today. We have a press. We introduced a head coach. Ryan Day's going to talk at 12:45. He's listening down in Rothman and Ice. We had Dean Evason, but we're going to have Tony Pettini talking now. We're doing 20 most interesting programs. All the while, this entire time that I was going down to Cincinnati thinking I was eating actual turtle soup, and now it's mock turtle soup, which from best I can tell is some sort of, I guess the meat is either a sheep or a beef head. what in the hell is going on down there? I felt much better about it when I was eating a turtle than eating beef or sheephead, whatever the hell that is. And then I get this, I guess it's pronounced, what the heck's going on in Cincinnati? Because Dancing Kev with this, saying that you can't forget about the Geta, Cincinnati's Geta, which looks like a glazed donut and then a sausage and cheese and bacon in between sandwich.
Okay.
What are they doing down there, man? Is that what it is? There's a Geta machine. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this right.
Where does it where does it come from? Because I was looking up, I looked up Geta and you found the food, but he was a Roman emperor, and then it's also like those like clog sandals that they like traditionally wear in Japan. So I have no idea why it's called Geta, but I'm guessing the Roman emperor thing.
All right. So it's not necessarily all of that. It's a meat and grain sausage or mush of German inspiration that is popular in Metro Cincinnati.
What are they eating down in Cincinnati?
Primarily composed of ground beef, steel-cut oats, and spices. Originally a dish meant to stretch out servings of a meal.
There's why I couldn't find it at first. It was misspelled the first time I saw it. It's Goetta. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't. That's why I was having trouble looking it up.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
And
I love how every Wikipedia entry for every one of these unique foods is popular in Cincinnati. Like...
We got to get ourselves some turtle soup with a side order of Geta. We'll have to do a live taste test on the show.
I'm for it. Well, you got to be careful with those. You saw what happened to Timmy Hall.
I heard about I saw the video of him eating the old hot dog.
Yeah, that didn't end well for him. Tyvus was fine, but it did not end well for him. All right, crash with this. There's a delicious turtle soup at the Old Mohawk in German Village, something they've known for and they've been around for years. They use turtle meat. It's delicious, similar to beef vegetable soup. So that's what they serve. That's what Mike Brown serves. This is probably real turtle meat, but his tastes very much like beef vegetable soup, and it's delicious. It's damn good.
I just imagine all these Cincinnati Bengals employees like on the banks of the Ohio River looking for turtles just so they can make the soup every year. That's it's probably just hard to source turtle.
I would say, yeah. I mean, I see him. I had one in the yard the other day. One kind of cruised through. So we'll see. Tony Petitti is going to. He was not hospitable. He was not a fan of Buddy Garrity, and he was not a fan of any of the things that I were using to try to shoo him off, at least back into the woods a little bit. Look, Petitti's going to talk over in Indianapolis. It's scheduled here to be going on right now. We'll keep an eye on that. If he says anything noteworthy. Here's an announcement that comes out of the Big Ten Championship game. This coming from the assembled media over there. Indianapolis is going to host the Big Ten Championship game through the 2028 season. So no West Coast Big Ten title games. That's a fail. We win, right? Home game. Mm-hmm. So we win. That's great. But they did not play the hits in the schedule. And to not go once to the Rose Bowl in the first 4 or 5 years of the agreement is I don't get them. To not go to LA. Like what was the point of adding the whole West Coast if you're never going to go anywhere even remotely close to out there? Like now all of a sudden you care about fans?
It is weird because, and then we always comment on it does feel like the SEC has their ducks in a row a lot better with this, but they've really only had the option of Atlanta all these years. I wonder if they can start to get into maybe Dallas with Texas and Oklahoma.
Yes, they will.
Being there, can they get into those kind of places? Because yes, LA is where you would target for the Big Ten, but can you find a way to get into Vegas? Or are you just letting the Big 12 have that? You've got a great stadium up in Minnesota, possibly a new one in Chicago that's going to be indoors, but until 2028, they won't explore any of those possibilities, I guess.
This is fantastic. So we talked about the Connor Stallions doc that's coming. Tony Petitti announced that Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel has been named the Athletic Director of the Year.
What? They're under double NCAA investigation. It's like Animal
He's
House.
really made an impact.
Double secret probation.
Oh, man. So Indy through 2028, and Ward Manuel's running a program, the preeminent program in the Big Ten, regardless of multiple investigations.
They just lost their two major coaches. One had to be fired. One left for the NFL.
Keep on doing it, Ward. You're killing it, man. So we'll keep you updated on any of that. 20 most interesting, the Bayou Bengals of LSU. Hit it, fellas.
As college football draws near, Bishop and Friends present the 20 most interesting programs. Spoiler alert, Rutgers isn't one of them.
No, we are in Baton Rouge, and the Bayou Bengals, coming off of a 10-3 season, 6-2 in the league. They have to replace the Heisman Trophy winner. They will do so with Garrett Nussmeier. He will be the quarterback down there. They are incredibly active in recruiting right now. They are winning a lot of recruiting battles. Beat Oregon and Ohio State on a defensive back last week, and go toe-to-toe with anybody. Recruiting at an elite level, Brian Kelly, as he heads into year 3 down there. They are also kind of, I think, going to be the poster child for what Greg Sankey is talking about when he compares the SEC schedule and record versus everybody else, because what LSU did in scheduling this year is ambitious, to put it mildly. Now, you don't know when you schedule UCLA what they're going to be, but I know when they scheduled him, Chip Kelly would have been the coach at UCLA, and the thinking was they're going to be a quality program. They are playing 2 Big Ten teams that we are not. They are playing USC in week 1, and they're playing UCLA on September 21st. UCLA is not going to be much this year, and USC is a hell of a challenge to start based on what they do offensively. Beyond that, they got Ole Miss, they got Texas A&M, they got Alabama, they got Oklahoma. That will be their new rivalry game. Looks to me like that they're going to play Oklahoma the last game of the season. They've weaved a lot of different games into that last spot. They used to play Arkansas in that slot for a long time, but it looks like the SEC again is going to try to play the hits and give you LSU, Oklahoma to close out the regular season. They are really talented. They are in a brutal conference with a brutal schedule. And to me, guys, when I look at LSU and I look at their depth chart and I look at who's returning and all of the things they've got to replace, but the overall depth of talent in the schedule, they very, very likely could be one of those teams that Sankey's pounding his chest and saying, look, these guys went 9-3 on that schedule. Who can top that? To me, they feel like the blueprint for it.
Yeah, and looking at their schedule, you mentioned all of those games. USC, first week of the season, out in Vegas. It's the marquee game. I think it's actually on Labor Day or maybe the Sunday of Labor Day. Yeah, I think it's the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. But then all those other ones you listed besides Texas A&M, that one is on the road. They got UCLA, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma, all at home. So that's a really nice situation for them. I also like, you mentioned weaving Oklahoma into that final spot for them. One, Oklahoma plays their real chief rival in the middle of the season because it's always at the Texas State Fair against the Longhorns. And LSU has really turned into this thing where they're the second best team in the West, which is a very good team, but they've always been just a little bit behind Bama. But if you can beat Bama, then those are the seasons where they are really good. And now they have another game at the end of the year where it'll be really important resume building for them. But also, if they do get upset or if it's a close game and they win, the game that will be at the end of the season for LSU could be like a play-in game. Oklahoma could be one of those teams that comes in 9-2 and LSU's 9-2, and maybe the winner is in, and maybe that 9-3 does knock you out, but that's what you really hope for with this expanded playoff, that you get games like that of 2 teams that, no, they're not in the top 4, but are they playing a pseudo playoff game there at the end of the season, and that's going to be more interesting for people.
So that September 1st game against USC is nationally televised. LSU is likely going to start the season with a number next to its name. Same with USC. If the Tigers put the Trojans in a pine box, because remember, for 2 years, Lincoln Riley did not want to play this game. Like, he was trying to back out of it for a while. They were even laughing at him at SEC Media Days about that. LSU is going to jump probably into the top 10 if they put them in a pine box. And then the Tigers can roll a very easy schedule, I think, until November.
Yeah, November for them is brutal. It's absolutely brutal. I think the one thing that that to watch for with them is they're really organized in recruiting. They're going toe to toe. They're hanging with Ohio State, with Oregon, with Georgia, with Alabama. They are trying to recruit it at the very.
It's what Brian Kelly wanted. He wanted to go down there and say, well, what can I do with a team that is in the top 3 or 4 of a recruiting class instead of just the top 10, which is usually where Notre Dame lies.
Yeah. So to me, they feel like a poster child for Sankey's comments of 9-3 or 9-3, 10-2 better than yours. There's a roadmap for them, although I think I don't see them playing in the SEC title game, but I really think they are going to be an SEC bubble team. I think Brian Kelly's a damn good coach. They've got a really good roster. They got to work in a new quarterback, but I think they'll be more than fine on that front. So to me, they feel like the poster child for it.
I wonder, okay, so that was really weird information that we got that from last week, that the SEC doesn't have their tiebreakers written down yet, and they say, oh, we'll figure it out. That to me sounds like inside job. If there's a tiebreaker, we want to make sure that it's Alabama and Georgia playing each other and not Alabama playing Arkansas if they have a really good season. Right? They want to make sure that's what that sounds like to me. That we'll figure it out to figure out how to get the two teams we want if there's a tiebreaker scenario.
Or, Chopper, it could go the other way, and you could play Missouri against Georgia as a sacrificial lamb to spare Alabama the loss.
And make sure you lock up the number 1 seed if you're Georgia or something like that.
Then you get the 1 seed, and then Alabama's it's all in play with
Alabama
them.
can be the 5. Yeah,
it's all in play with them. It reminds me a little bit of NASCAR. Like if you rubbin's racing, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's kind of what it feels like to me. This from Big Ten Media Days. Already, I don't like this Petiti press conference. The opening statement, he mentions the additions of USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington as 3 AAU institutions. Sir, you are not presiding over the intellectual academic quality of the conference. You're in charge of the athletic programs in the conference. Who gives a damn if they're AAU?
They've always cared about that. That is an academic conference as well as an athletic conference.
Gross. Absolutely gross.
If you guys want to be a group of universities that work together and help push research further, great. Why does that have to do with football? Why do those have to be the same? You can still have member Big Ten. You can have non-academic member Big Tens. I don't care how you do it, but we're talking about the sports when we talk about Big Ten.
It's like a bad habit, like chewing your fingernails. It's going to be a long, difficult process to get them to not do these things anymore. Like talk about how proud they are of their academics. It'll be hard for Ohio State. It's going to happen when they start to decrease the numbers of sports that they provide. It's going to be a very difficult thing for them to not beat their chest about it.
It's very similar to the absurdity of the student athlete farce. Yeah.
It's enough. He doesn't represent the academic stuff. He represents the athletics. We'll hit the categories on the Bayou Bengals. They got a lot of cool players. Who's the coolest in our mind coming up next? Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. Mary Haven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Direct Auto Insurance is for uncompromisers. The people who refuse to make trade-offs in life. Like Kelly, when her old car insurance got so expensive that she couldn't afford to drive anymore, do you think she started carrying her groceries for miles? No. But she did find Direct Auto's savings that allowed her to drive instead of compromise. With savings of up to 25%, you too can stop compromising and keep driving. Get a quote today at directauto.com. Savings based on applied discounts and will vary. Terms apply. How you buy can affect price. National General Group, Winston-Salem.
The summer sell-down is on at Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Save thousands with bonus cash on select inventory. Plus, get another $2,500 off any new Chrysler Jeep Dodge or Ram with your trade. One Performance, 2 locations, Georgesville and Delaware.
Trade value based on KBB, be comparable, 2010 model or newer, and price of $5,000.
This is Pre-Tection. Yep, Pre-Tection. The everyday skin protection ritual that protects your skin from mosquitoes. Pre-barbecue. Pre-playground. Pre-everything. Pre-every day. Prevention is the best protection. This summer, make sure you have OFF, the #1 dermatologist recommended repellent brand. SC Johnson, a family company.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app, or listen at home on your smart speaker, or open up the iHeartRadio app, or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Murphy Tractor and Equipment is your source for John Deere construction equipment rental. We rent high-quality equipment and attachments with add-on options in TopCon precision construction technology. Whether you need 1 week or 6 months, we rent a variety of equipment to help you get the job done. All our rental equipment is fully serviced, fueled, and ready to get to work. Let Murphy Tractor be your first choice for your construction equipment rental needs. Visit us online at murphytractor.com.
You've waited all summer, and now is the time to take action at Buckeye Lake Marina. Join Buckeye Lake Marina on Saturday, July 27th from 9 to 5 for their massive summer boat extravaganza. Door prizes and giveaways, free food and refreshments. There will also be dock demonstrations with every available boat in the water. Take a ride aboard the latest and greatest new and used boats offered on Buckeye Lake. Don't miss Buckeye Lake Marina's summer boat extravaganza this Saturday, July 27th from 9 to 5. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for details.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today we're going to be looking at a few showers with a high around 86. Dry overnight tonight with a low of 67. Foggy on your Wednesday morning. And in fact, visibilities could be under a quarter of a mile. And then the fog burns off by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Looking at a partly cloudy day with a few showers and thunderstorms. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
Erectile dysfunction, guys, an intimacy destroyer. Research shows that men can draw apart from their partners when ED affects the sex life. Conditions including stress, anxiety, depression, even worse, the man's partner can even blame themselves when ED becomes a problem. ED is a terrible condition. Stresses in relationships, anxiety, all of it. The reality is there is a solution out there, and there's no need for you to wait anymore. Go see my friends at Tri-State Men's Health. They have treatments that work where the pills and herbals fail. They have success rates over 90% on these treatments. So do yourself a favor. Schedule a consult with Tri-State Men's Health here in town today. Your initial visit's $99. Includes medical consult with licensed medical provider, TNPSA test, if medically advised, a test dose. Now, if the test dose doesn't work, that office visit's going to be free. It's a no-lose win-win for you. So give them a call today and get your sex life back on track. 800-900-9654. Visit TriStateMen'sHealth.com today. 6 locations in the Tri-State, 2 here in town. Quick exit off 270 in Hilliard and near Medical Mile in Westerville. Time for the categories on the LSU Tigers. By the way, Tony Petitti saying
no. Sorry, what was Tony Petitti saying?
Nothing. No.
Okay, there we go.
Nothing. He's saying nothing.
Well, he says they're going to constantly have to reevaluate schedules to figure out travel.
No kidding.
Yeah, I guess. Like, we know.
Yeah. Why didn't you play all 4 teams on the West Coast against each other every year? Wouldn't that make it more helpful versus having Washington play the teams that they're playing? Come on.
Especially when one of those West Coast teams also has to travel all the way out to LSU.
Yeah, come on. Just crazy. Modern football grade for the Bayou Bengals, Reese.
I'm going to give them an A. I think, and again, you got to give credit to coaches that were there previous to Brian Kelly, but I think he's done a really good job with that program. I think they've been able to recruit well. They last year going into the season, I thought Harold Perkins would be the best player in college football, and it was a little disappointing. But they did have the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback.
Yes, they did.
So that accounts for something.
LSU has a whole state behind them. They are the university of record in Louisiana, and that always helps you in the NIL world for sure. And they second to 8th in Louisiana as far as college football programs go. It's the Saints and the Tigers, and everybody loves both of them. At least that's what it seems like. But I'm worried about their portaling because Brian Kelly has some Dabo Sweeney energy in that realm. but his recruiting is so good. So it's like I think it's like B- on portal, maybe even lower. But then their NIL and recruiting could be A+. So like, does that average out to a B+, A-? But it's like the individual factors. Some are really highly graded, and some I'm not so sure about.
I think I'm going to go. I'm in the B-, A- range, like somewhere between an 88 and a 91. They're not Ohio State. They're not Georgia. They're not Alabama. They're not Oregon. But they're right next. They're the next. And sometimes they could jump into that group. Every once in a while, they may have a class that jumps into that group. I think you do have to reevaluate, like, what are the best jobs in the country, because LSU has won 3 national championships with 3 different coaches. LSU, because when Saban got there and what he helped turn it into, is a fantastic. It is a top job. Like, I think if you're Lincoln Riley, maybe you're thinking about, maybe I should have just gone to LSU if I was going to leave. Although that house is very, very nice. Do they have the right coach grade, Reese?
Yes, I gave it a B+. I think Brian Kelly's good, but I don't think he's the kind of coach that could get any team to summit a mountaintop, if that makes sense. Like, they'll always be hanging around, but I don't know if he's the guy to get just that extra inch from a team.
Yeah, so I think the A range is reserved for somebody I think is going to win a national championship or could really have a shot to win a national championship at his current job. And LSU definitely has that, but this is probably just because personally I don't really like Brian Kelly. I gave it a C+. I think his time has passed. I think he's really interested in going through this and seeing what he can do with LSU and picking up with the recruiting. But I just think that college football is moving on from the Brian Kelly era of coaches, and I don't think he's in that group of elite coach anymore.
I'm with you on that. I think it's a B-. It's pretty remarkable, though. He has won at least 10 games every season going back to 17 at Notre Dame. So 10-3, 12-1, 11-2, 10-2, 11-1, 10-4, 10-3. Like, he can coach it. He can flat out coach it up a little bit.
And that'll get you into the 12-teamer, too.
That will. Yeah, he's going to be in that a lot, I think. Uniform grade for the LSU Tigers.
It's an A.
It's pretty great.
I mean, that's a traditional college football uniform.
I like it too. I went B+ on it just because it's just the LSU with the tiger, and it is cool, but it's not the most creative one. I do like it every once in a while when they have the hurricane logo and stuff. Usually that's
the tiger.
It's like at the 50 and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Have they ever put that on the helmet? Actually, but
I think so. When they were a throwback, they wear like an old gold throwback and they wear a white one, but I don't know that they've ever worn like a modernized LSU uniform that I can remember.
Yeah, not that I can think of either, but it's they've got a lot of cool color and color combinations to work with, and because the white is definitely a part of their color scheme, the pants can be all sorts of different colors, and you don't feel like, oh, they're just putting jerseys together. It really feels like it's always LSU.
It's an A to me. I think they're almost perfect. I think the only thing, and I like the tradition of the fact that they wear white at home, but in doing so, you also don't get to wear the purple over gold, which is gorgeous. So they'll sometimes go a whole season without wearing a purple jersey. They'll wear white the whole time, the whole season with the yellow pants. But it's pretty damn clean. It's right there. It's one of the best. Coolest to play there. Who you got, Reese?
It's the Honey Badger.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was one of the ones that popped in my head, and then I was like, then I thought of it. The picture of Joe Burrow sitting on a couch in the locker room, smoking a cigar after he won the national championship, running out for senior day with Burrow, E-A-U-X, at the end of his name. It's Joe Burrow.
Dude,
guy's maybe the coolest college football player ever.
Think what you can choose from here. I mean, Billy Cannon, they made a movie about, for God's sakes. Their other Heisman winner. You've got Burrow with the spelling of that, Honey Badger, OBJ, Jarvis, Jefferson, Chase. We didn't even get to the defensive side.
Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, my God. They got dudes upon dudes upon dudes, but I think it is probably Burrow. Like him walking out on senior day with Burrow spelled that way, and then doing it, like winning the title, smoking the cigar, all of it, it probably is him. Would they make Lance Harbor's Final 5 grade, Reese?
Maybe.
I went A- with it, too, that I'm like, I
gave it a B, but
I think they're totally in the realm of it, but I just don't know.
They'd be in on him.
Yeah, they have the number one quarterback prospect in the country committed for next year. It's between him and, I'm blanking, our guy, Tavian St. Clair. Those are the two that they go back and forth with. So I do think they would be in the Final 5, and I think there's I think it would be a tougher sell. Like, he just, to me, seems predetermined to go to Texas at this point, or Georgia, something like that. But I do think they would be in the mix.
The hat would be on the table.
I think that, yes, that's a good way to put it. Win it all, playoff or chump for Brian Kelly's LSU Tigers.
That's the playoff team. They had solid defense, returns a lot of players. They had a quarterback that was able to, at least, I think, have a quarter of the complement or maybe half the complement of LSU's offense last season, which we've been clamoring for our guy here in Columbus forever. This is a team that, with Brian Kelly, they will always, I think, make the playoff.
They are a better and healthier program than Penn State is over the last 20 years, of course. They've won 3 national championships. But they are also in that same group of Penn State as the change to 12 team and the change of getting rid of divisions in the SEC. LSU is probably going to benefit the most outside of Texas and Oklahoma. Because they're joining the league, but LSU might benefit the most from these changes.
Yeah, they're going to be right in the mix. It's going to be about Nussmeier and the step. Can he be good enough? But everything else checks boxes. The schedule's obviously ambitious. Geez, that October, November for them is a full day. So I think they are going, like I said earlier, I think they're going to be the poster child for our 9-3 is better than your 11-1. And when I say that, I'm not saying Buckeye 11-1. I'm saying Kansas State 11-1. That's that type of 11-1. That's where the conversation will be had in the college football playoff. A man who ought to know, a man who won a national championship there, Jacob Hester. He will join us coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Summer's heating up at Zumbizi Bay. Slide into the action with our thrilling rides. Relax and unwind in the lazy river. Join us for $19.99 admission after 4 p.m. Zumbizi Bay, Central Ohio's largest water park. Get your tickets at zumbizibay.com.
As a local family-owned and operated company, Newman Roofing takes pride in providing a great customer experience and quality product to every job. From the first call to the final nail, you'll know how much we care. So call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit us online at newmanroofing.com.
Is arthritic joint pain keeping you from doing the things that you love? Bone-on-bone pain in your knee, arthritic pain like I was having in my knee, maybe your hip, your back, your shoulder. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Listen, there are exciting new cellular therapies that you can get lasting relief from. QC Kinetics is helping patients like you every day here in Columbus, led by Dr. Ray Tesner. I'm talking about cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. Listen, my dad was having knee pain. I was having knee pain. So we went over to QC Kinetics, and they were able to help us out. And 2 years out, I'm still feeling good. My dad can still move around. So learn how QC Kinetics can treat pain and enhance your joints and restore your mobility and give you long-term lasting relief with no downtime. So check them out. Go to 380-208-4544 or head to one of their offices in Dublin, Gehenna, or now the new one that's most recently opened in Grove City.
I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota, and our summer clearance event starts now with 0% financing on the 2024 Toyota Tundra. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com for details. Hurry in. Offer ends July 31st. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
Think Toyota. Think Tansky. Think Tansky.
With approved credit, 0% up to 48 months, tax, title, and $250 doc fee not included.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Common Man here for Choice Cabinet. Contractors, builders, apartment managers, I'm talking to you. You've all been using the same old cabinet vendors for too long. I want to introduce you to Choice Cabinet. They are new to Central Ohio, and they want your business. Family owned and operated by the Laurinaitis. Yes, cousins to that guy. Kitchens, closets, pantries, laundry rooms, mud rooms, 60,000 all-wood cabinets in stock. Call my guys today, 216-378-9313, or go to choicecabinet.com.
Skyline is turning up the heat this summer with Hot Met Cheese Conies, made with a premium Hot Met sausage from Queen City Sausage. But don't wait. Hot Met Conies are only at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. Come get yours today.
Save big on your next landscaping project now at Menards. We're your destination for concrete landscaping blocks. We have the largest in-stock selection, ready to take home today. Plus, get free estimates fast using our landscape design program in store or on Menards.com. Save big on all landscape blocks at Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction according to J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or a new golfer, think beyond the green and head over to X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell. Come experience the most advanced and accurate golf simulators in the world at X Golf. A fun venue with great food, excellent service, and a full bar. You can play around on one of our 50 courses, take a lesson from our PGA Pro, hit the driving range, join a league, or just sit back and sip a beer on the outdoor patio. Book your tee time today at playxgolf.com. X Golf Columbus and X Golf Powell, the home of indoor golf.
Hi, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Need a perfect gift? Check out the new line of Glock watches and other stunning jewelry at Worthington Jewelers. Make every occasion sparkle with Worthington Jewelers, where exceptional gifts await.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
20 most interesting programs centers around the Bayou Bengals of LSU. When we talk LSU around here, we sure like to do it with a host of Off Campus on Sirius XM. He is a national champion at LSU, the former running back there, and he joins us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. The great Jacob Hester joining us. Buddy, thank you so much for taking the time. Let's start big picture. You were at SEC Media Days. What were some of your biggest takeaways from how the conference presented itself with the addition of Texas and Oklahoma?
Yeah, man, glad to be on. It's always a pleasure. So I appreciate you having me on. And SEC Media Days is always like a spectacle. It's always an event. I don't think anybody can do 4 days like the SEC. You know, they really spread it out, but they make it worth your while. And you add Texas and Oklahoma, and it just felt right. Now, maybe that's because of where they're located. Maybe it's because we've heard about this for 3 years, and we've kind of already moved past the shock of Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC, but I thought the entire, staffs at both places did a fantastic job of integrating themselves into the SEC. Now, they had been at spring meetings down in Destin, Florida in late May, and so you saw some of the ADs and coaches, and so maybe that was like the kind of, all right, welcome to the SEC moment. Then we see the big production both put on at SEC Network and their welcoming party, but it just kind of felt right. Like, it didn't really feel like – I thought it would actually feel like, oh, there's new kids on the block, but it didn't really feel like that. And so I thought the SEC did a really nice job of where they placed them and which teams they placed them with.
Jacob, I found it interesting, and I've said this on our program a lot, the SEC's playing the hits. I mean, you're going to get Georgia, Texas, you're getting Alabama, Oklahoma. But this also looked like – this also, in terms of a scheduling standpoint, impacts your alma mater directly in that it appears from the outside looking in that they're saying, hey, your new rivalry game is going to be Oklahoma at the end of the year. How was that received? And is your understanding that that's going to be a regular thing, that the final regular season game of the year is going to be Oklahoma for the Tigers?
Yeah, so LSU is kind of a place that doesn't really have like one rival. If you ask, my grandfather, he would have said Tulane. My dad would say Ole Miss. I would say the Florida Gators. My sons would say Alabama. So it's a little bit all over the place, right? But Texas A&M had become a thing. Now, it took a long time for it to become a thing. It took a 7-overtime game that we had never seen before for it to really feel like it was a rivalry situation. But it actually, by the end of it, felt like, okay, well, maybe it's Texas A&M. But as soon as Texas came into the league, it just makes all the sense in the world for those two teams to play. And so you kind of knew that they were going to take them away from you. It's like, okay, well, who's going to be the last game of the season? Because Arkansas has already moved on to Mizzou. That used to be the game when I was in school. So Oklahoma gets put on the schedule. And at first I'm like, okay, are they forcing it again? But the more I look at it, the more I talk with people around both programs, I think this will actually become a thing. Now, Texas and Oklahoma are going to play in Dallas, the Cotton Bowl. That's always going to be a thing, as it should be. But I think Oklahoma and LSU, because when you look at it, the last two times that they've played, in 2003 is for a national championship. In 2019, it was the college football playoff semifinal. So there's some history there that you could build off of. And so I don't know if it sticks around forever, but I kind of hope that it does because, again, I think it makes all the sense in the world for Oklahoma to have kind of a new rivalry as they head into the SEC and what, two major programs, LSU and Oklahoma, feel like they fit each other.
I think it's going to take no time, buddy. I think those brands are so good that, that's going to be a must-see game every year. To me, that feels like a home run. So in terms of sustainability, one thing we do on the program here is we grade, we call it a modern football grade. So how do you portal? How do you NIL? How do you recruit? Seems like LSU is locked in on all of that. Incredible summer Brian Kelly's had recruiting. This is going into year 3 for him. What do you make of the job done so far and the job currently being done and just kind of the way that the Tiger Nation views him?
Yeah, I think when you look at the first 2 years, he's won 10 games in each of the first 10 years. Now, LSU is a place that wants to play for championships. You and I have talked so many years in a row, and, the history of LSU is play for championships. And outside of Alabama the last, 20-plus years, they've got the second most national championships. But I think LSU fans, they were looking for more consistency and not the spikes because LSU would win a national championship and then it kind of go away for a little bit. Then they come back and win a national championship, and so the highs are really high. But I think the LSU fan base, they want to get away from the lows. And I think Brian Kelly's done that so far in 2 years. I mean, the first year, none of us had them going to the SEC championship game. Now, they didn't win it, but they went there. And then last year, I think winning 10 games after losing your opener yet again, that was an impressive season as far as what they were able to do after that loss. You had a Heisman Trophy quarterback. Those are always going to bring eyeballs to the program. And so I think LSU fans are liking where the direction of Brian Kelly is because, again, it's been a long time since LSU's won 10 games in a row, 3 straight years. Again, like peaks and valleys, and they're trying to have more peaks than valleys. And I think that LSU fans believe that Brian Kelly has stabilized the program. Now they're looking for that high. They're looking for the 2019, the 2011, even though you didn't finish it off, you got to a national championship, the 07, the 03. They're looking for that. But I think that if that comes, if that does happen, they get into a playoff situation, then you're going to have, continued support LSU fan base because, like you said, NIL, recruiting, transfer portal, all of those things have been answered.
Is this all on Nussmeier? I mean, I'm looking at the roster, and it looks like there aren't too many questions. I mean, you'd know it better than me, obviously, but it looks like they're pretty good everywhere. The question is, redshirt junior, can he go?
Yeah, I mean, certainly he's going to be the thing that either gets them to the promised land or the reason maybe they don't make a college football playoff in a lot of aspects. Now, the defense has to have improvement, but they hired a brand new staff. They brought every level. I mean, defensive line, linebacker, safety, corner, all new coaches. They completely cleaned the slate, and so that's going to be a big storyline. But, yeah, I mean, the quarterback position in today's college football, if you don't have a Jimmy and Joe, you're not going to go very far. And they feel like they have one in Garrett Nussmeier. He is the unicorn. He is the player that did not go to the transfer portal when he wasn't playing. And then when he came in, he's played really well. I mean, he comes in, he beats Arkansas. He comes in an SEC championship game against a historic Georgia defense and kind of lights them up a little bit. He wins the bowl game against Wisconsin last year. So for him to stay, not transfer, he is truly a unicorn. I think he's ready for that moment. And LSU is going to have receivers. That's just kind of a position that they've thrived over the last couple of years. And LSU's offensive line, I think it might be the best in the country in the totality of it. Will Campbell's going to be a top 5 NFL draft choice. Emory Jones is going to be a first-round draft choice. They've got 2 guys starting at guard that have started now for 3 years. There's a lot of experience and talent on the offensive line. So, he's going to have weapons. There's not going to be a lot of excuses for Garrett Nussmeier for him not to go out there and get it done. Mason Taylor, tight end's a nice piece to have. And so Garrett Nussmeier is ready for the moment, and I think LSU fans are excited to see if it's going to pay off for him. Because last time an LSU quarterback did not transfer, even though he had starter quality. It was Matt Flynn. Guy wins a national championship his last year and then plays a decade in the NFL. I think they're hoping for the same story.
We got to get a Matt Flynn on here. I mean, we got to get a reminder of that here in Columbus. We got to get that, buddy.
Oh my gosh, I did not. I promise you, I did not even think about that. I was just trying to, it's a good comp for LSU fans to be able to say it paid off for the guy that waited around.
Jacob Hester, of course, on that national championship team at LSU, host of Off Campus on SiriusXM, and joining us. You have won a national title. You played in the league. When you were down talking to with the SEC coaches, how are they going to approach this schedule of the idea of playing 17 games? One thing Ryan Day's talking about anytime you give him the chance is we need depth big, and it's going to come into play. When you think about the fact that by the time LSU plays that early November, you got a game again. Well, late October, you got a game against Texas A&M. Buddy, that's about halfway through the season if they're going to try to win a national title. How do you think coaches are going to prepare for that down in that league?
I mean, they're going to reach out to NFL coaches. Some of them have experience. Lane Kiffin's been a head coach in the NFL with Oakland. Sarkisian's been a coordinator with Atlanta, and they're going to lean on that experience. The Raiders didn't make a lot of deep runs when Lane was there, but I'm saying he does have that experience of a long season. And look, you reach out to people. You ask them, hey, in week 17 in NFL, how did y'all deal with it? Because, look, I was once a rookie. You absolutely hit a wall about mid-December, and you're like, wait a minute, we still got 4 more games that we have to play. And, it's something that you have to try to adjust to, and it's very, very difficult. You're going to see some teams fall into what we're talking about. You're going to see some teams that they're not used to playing that long, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, if we want to win this deal, we got to go win 4 more games, and your depth is going to get absolutely tested. If you're one of these teams that built through the transfer portal and your first 22 or even your first 35 are really good players you feel good about, well, you're going to get tested beyond that. You're going to have players step up that right now you're not even counting on. Right now, they might be 3s on the depth chart because you're going to have more injuries, you're going to have more fatigue. And I think those teams that are built through the portal and haven't really done it through high school recruiting, it's going to get tested. And it might be the reason why they don't move to the next round.
I couldn't agree with you more on that, buddy. I really appreciate your time. I'll get you out of here on this one. What is success this season for LSU?
Just making the playoff. I don't think it matters what seed they get. I think making the playoff, showing the fan base that you are championship relevant, that you're not going to, a bowl game down in Florida, like you're doing something of note. And so I think getting to a college football playoff, you could be the 11th seed. I don't think that they're going to care necessarily about that. If you don't make the playoff, then it's going to be a very long offseason. Now, Brian Kelly's not going anywhere, obviously with his contract and what he's done so far, certainly in recruiting. But it would be an interesting conversation all season long. Now, I'm not saying that it's national championship or bust. I know probably that's the conversation in Columbus. Mm-hmm. But for Baton Rouge, Louisiana, I think just making the playoff would show the progression, knowing you have a top 5 recruiting class coming in the next year, and that probably would be good enough for the fan base.
You're the best, buddy. Really appreciate your time and your expertise today.
No, thank you. Anytime y'all need me, let me know.
All right, that's the great Jacob Hester, host of Off Campus on SiriusXM, former LSU running back and national champion there. We hit 3 things on a Tuesday. Up next, Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. I was in my Lexus the other day. It was hot as hell, but I was so thankful for my ventilated seats. I'm not saying that's why you should buy one. It's just very nice. Right now at Jermaine Lexus, it's the Golden Opportunity Sales Event with lease payments as low as $499 a month and 3.99% financing on select models. Get this, the RZ is 0%. I have been a Jermaine customer for years, even before I started doing the commercials. If you're in the market, please stop in. Jermaine Lexus, Dublin and Easton, JermaineLexus.com.
Underneath our red awning at Sheets, we make the magic happen. So when you visit our new location in Columbus, go ahead and get a little crazy, like adding mott sticks as a burger topping, or putting espresso in your milkshake, or picking up $65 worth of fried food curbside at 2 a.m. 24/7, 365. Sheets, located at 4881 Roberts Road in Columbus, is ready to serve you what you're really craving. Why the Sheets not make a convenience store your new favorite hangout spot?
O'Reilly Auto Parts is your exclusive in-person advance sale ticket outlet for the 2024 Ohio State Fair. Discount admission tickets are $8 at participating stores. Enjoy food, entertainment, animals, rides, and so much more at the Ohio State Fair, July 24th through August 4th. Get advance sale tickets now through Tuesday, July 23rd. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go.
The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
If you have an unhealthy obsession with the Blue Jackets, we have just the remedy. Join us Wednesday nights at 7 for the Inside Edge. All the Jackets and hockey conversation you can handle. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When it comes to protecting your business, whether it's your staff, property, or assets, don't make a crucial mistake by contracting companies that provide subpar and unprofessional service. What you need is a security partner known for their unwavering professionalism and unmatched reliability. You need Event Risk. Event Risk is a U.S.-based, veteran-owned company that not only specializes in on-site guarding, but also offers armed security associates and executive protection agents. Event Risk, elite protection for your peace of mind.
Hello, my name is Eric Rose, CEO and founder of Event Risk Security Services. We are a U.S.-based, veteran-owned company providing protection services and consulting to Fortune 500 corporations, movie studios, celebrities, and high-net-worth individuals. If you're tired of fluff margins with low compensation for poor-quality security officers and an endless revolving door of vendor staffing, then give us a try. For virtually the same cost, we can then address what keeps you up at night.
Visit EventRiskInc.com.
Are your feet stopping you from being active and making it difficult to get healthier? Trade in your bad feet and start the new year with good feet and get healthy in 2024. Wouldn't it be nice to work, walk, and play pain-free again?
Friday, July 26th is Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair. Visit the Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, the Department of Insurance, and other state agency booths. Come learn about mental health resources available to you and to your family. Join us on Friday, July 26th for Recovery Ohio's Mental Health Day at the Ohio State Fair. We'll see you there.
We know your golf game is ugly, but your course doesn't have to be. Experience the natural beauty of Delaware Golf Club today. Delaware Golf Club is now open to the public and only 10 miles up the road from 270. For the best rates, book your tee time online at DelawareGolfClub.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll asks, after Ohio State and Oregon, who's likely to be the third best team in the Big Ten this season? 53% of you say Penn State, followed by Michigan at 31%. Other is getting 7%. Iowa, 6%.
Iowa's really good. I don't know. The more I hear about Penn State, the more I think I'd be more surprised if they were the third best over Michigan. I think Michigan's going to be the third best. I think their defense is really, really good. And I don't like any of the vibes with Penn State.
It'll be
I don't like any of the stuff they're doing.
Obviously, for me, there's a reason, but it'll be really interesting, like, if Iowa's offense can just improve to, like, 27 points a game or something. And, like, what does that do for them? If the offense actually does get better with the change from Brian Ferentz.
If it's all Brian Ferentz.
Yeah, because I don't think it's going to jump up. They're not going to be a 40-point scoring team all of a sudden, but it could be better, and that might be enough to win 2 extra games or something.
So third best versus, the third team in the playoffs. So Iowa, Illinois State, Iowa State, Troy, Minnesota, Buckeyes, Washington, Michigan State, Northwestern, Wisconsin, UCLA, Maryland, Nebraska.
It's really only OSU should lose of that list. Washington's kind of just a question mark right now.
Washington, we don't know anything about. We did them yesterday. And then Wisconsin will be an interesting one, too. What do they do in year 2 under Luke? But no, it's definitely navigable for them for sure. Time for 3 things on a Tuesday. Hit it, fellas.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
This is probably the number one for me, probably the best example of how much viewership has changed that I can come up with in recent years. So the Red Sox and Dodgers drew 1.6 million people on ESPN over the weekend. Red Sox and Dodgers, so two of the 5 glamour franchises in baseball. I know the Red Sox are down this year, but nevertheless, 2 of the 5 biggest fan bases. 1.62 million. The WNBA All-Star Game did 3.44. Twice as many people watched the WNBA All-Star Game than watched a regular season game between the Red Sox and Dodgers. So when people say, why don't you, if not that I get it very often, but I think people understand, but like, why no more baseball? It's because unless you care about the team, no one's watching it.
First one for me, I mentioned how we went back east, saw some of J-Lo's family this weekend, and it was a group of people that I had never really met. So leading into it, there were some pictures and stuff, and I was like, so who's this? Who's this? I wanted to be prepared for it because I'm not good at remembering names in like big group settings when like you're getting a bunch of introduction and stuff. And I was pretty proud of myself. I definitely had some like locked in, and I was able to call people by their name and something that when I'm in a group like that, it's a lot of buddies or hey pals or just things like that. So I was proud of myself that hey, I prepared for it and I actually did know a fair amount of the names and felt confident that I knew them too.
Veterans for the Cincinnati Bengals report to training camp today. That includes Joe Burrow, who showed up with a new haircut.
Oh, baby, did he?
He looks like Eminem. It's short and it's bleach blonde. And the Bengals tweeted, guess who's back? Back again. Joe Burrow's back. Tell a friend.
Dude, that's like Athens High. That's what remember when he played it?
He probably had some of it left over from high school. Some of that hair bleach.
Yeah, that's Athens Plains High. Joe Burrow is what that is.
He's holding up the peace hands in the picture, and I'm wondering if he's trying to count on his one hand the wins he has against the Browns. And it's no, Joe, that's not 2.
It's a choice. I haven't seen that haircut in a very long time, probably since he played in Athens. Number 2 for me, the more I hear Big Ten people talk, whether it's commissioners like Tony Petitti today or athletic directors, like this isn't, and I think most people kind of understood this. It is so abundantly clear that nobody that actually is making decisions within the conference wanted any of this expansion. That in fact, this was driven entirely by Fox and the television partners, that we gave you a bunch of money and you don't have enough good inventory for us to warrant putting in prime time. So you need to do this. Because whether it's Petitti talking about AAU, athletic directors talking about the challenges, it's always a very tepid reaction to bringing in USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. And I think a big reason for that is because it makes no damn sense that they're in this league. We had Jacob Hester on. Texas and Oklahoma make sense in the SEC. These schools don't make sense in the Big Ten.
No, they don't. Second one for me, I got a chessboard for J-Lo's brother for Christmas. And then when we went, the place we were staying, one of the amenities they had in the backyard was an outdoor chessboard with like the big full-size pieces. So you walk on the board and play it. And I was like, I'm gonna play. And so I played a lot of games because I find it fun, even though I'm not very good at it. But I finally beat J-Lo's brother Matthew in one game, which I don't know the exact number, but probably puts me at about 1-15 all time against him. He's just better. I think I need to do, you know what? I'll watch that Connor Stallions doc and I'll see if I can learn some things from him. And I need to start filming Matthew's chess games and then I can learn all his tendencies. That's what I'm going to do.
For those interested, the Ohio State Fair begins tomorrow, runs through August 4th. The fair is going to unveil their butter cow theme today at noon.
There's a theme? I know they did the butter cow, but I didn't know they had a theme.
I think the theme, and they show you what the butter cow or the butter sculptures look like with the butter cow.
Yeah, it's always the cow, and then it's other things.
Like the cow,
one year,
for sure.
It was like astronauts and stuff.
Urban Meyer another year.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, very good. The boys, I guess there's no question they are my offspring. Last night, they were watching the Spider-Man that has all 3 of them in it, all 3 of the Spider-Mans in it, and Beamsy was like, oh, it's almost over. Let me just watch. And I was at the part that they were at, and I'm like, actually, it's more like 30 minutes. And then it goes to commercial. And I said, wait a second. We have this streaming. What are you idiots doing watching this with commercials on FX? I don't know. It was just on. They're flippers, just like me. They got caught in it.
Yeah, and you couldn't even be mad at them because you're like, well, I do that.
No, I subscribe to this. Yeah, I was proud of them.
Last one for me, and I think it's because nicer, newer cars have that like adaptive cruise control now. But I hate driving because I just want to go like 5 to 7 miles above the speed limit, click it into cruise control, and just go. and I have to click it off all the time because somebody is going this, just a little slower, and I can't get around a car in a different lane, and it just is the most annoying thing to me. So next time I get a new car, or a new to me car, I'm going to make sure adaptive cruise control is part of it.
Rothman and Ice are coming up next from 12 to 3. Ryan Day is going to be on, he's going to be speaking from Indianapolis at 12:45. They'll carry those comments. And then Dean Evason, will join the boys at 1:33, new head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Just keep it here all day, because there's stuff all day long. So just keep it here all day, and you will win. Rothman and Ice coming up next. We're back tomorrow. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you, too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
Your Big Ten Action Update. The Michigan Wolverines have the 4th best odds to win the Big Ten this year at 7-1. Michigan has the 11th best odds to win the national championship at 25-1. The Wolverines' season win total is at 8.5 games, with Michigan's non-conference schedule including Fresno State, Texas, and Arkansas State, and Michigan is plus 118 to make the 12-team college football playoff. For your Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island. This season on Nada Yada Island.
When we were new, they spoiled me. They even gave me a phone. But then, it's like I didn't exist.
Don't take yada yada from your wireless carrier. Now with Metro, get that new customer feeling again and again. Introducing Metro Flex. Free 5G phones when you join, same deals as new customers when you stay. Only at Metro by T-Mobile. Just bring your number and ID and sign up for an eligible plan. After 12 months, trade in and get our best deals on select devices.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 roof.
Cash, moolah, greenback toast, Grilla, chips, bread and mold, cheddar, butter, lewd and scratch. Find the lettuce, make a match. Lettuce, gravy, game on the back for $30. That's a wrap. There's many words for cash, no doubt, but there's only one $30 cash word. Check it out. Cash word from Ohio, lottery. It's $30 show. Cash word, it's fun to go with millions of prizes, don't you know? Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
Jedi are being murdered.
Now streaming, Star Wars Returns, only on Disney+.
I didn't do it! Believe me!
She was my student. Let me be the one to bring her in.
Now she is a student of the dark side. An acolyte.
Star Wars, The Acolyte. New episodes Tuesdays, only on Disney+.
Are you ready to build your company's dream team? Just like in sports, finding skilled players is essential for success. With Robert Half's winning combination of specialized recruiting professionals and award-winning AI, we'll help you find the MVPs and key role players who will have you hanging banners in the rafters. Because in business, it's all about having the experienced team on your side. At Robert Half,